turn off your camera. There are media persons in attendance, and they may use some quotes from the Vigil in their reports. We request everyone to turn their mics on mute till it is their turn to speak. However, we encourage everyone to freely use the chat option to share their thoughts, feelings, grief, and messages of condolences or support. This is indeed a time to hear from one another. We will be sharing resources on accessing mental health supports, as also ways to counter Islamophobia in some time. Having said that, we now begin our vigil. I'd like to call in Ghazala Fawzia, Board Chair of Coalition of Muslim Women, to make the opening remarks.
Jazakallah khair, Mifra, and thank you for giving me this opportunity. It's really a very sad event. Hello and assalamu alaikum, everyone. Peace be with you. As the chair of Coalition of Muslim Women of KW and on behalf of CMW board, I'm extremely affected and deeply saddened by this heinous and premeditated Islamophobic act of hate that took place on Sunday in London, Ontario. I cannot stop thinking about the innocent family who was killed only because they were Muslims. This horrific act is another reminder of a huge societal issue that we have been ignoring as a society and that needs to be addressed on priority basis. Any forms of hate and racism has no place in our society, and we need to work together to eliminate it. It was not just targeted towards that family. In fact, it was targeted to all of us, no matter if we are Muslims or not. We ask our federal, provincial, and municipal government for taking serious actions to address Islamophobia and to eliminate racism from our society. As individuals and neighbors, we encourage all of you to show your love and care for each other, get to know each other, and respect each other beyond skin color, faith, and culture. The impact of this horrific act is huge. We need to be here for each other while collectively grieving the loss. Our prayers and thoughts are with the family of victims, London Muslim community, and the broader London community. There is immense loss and grief that all of us are experiencing. As a therapist, I'm here for you to listen and provide support to individuals and families trying to make sense of this senseless act. Please contact Coalition of Muslim Women of KW for my contact information. My love and peace be with all of you tonight and every night. Thank you.
Thank you, Ghazala. I now call on Fawzia Mazhar, the Executive Director of Coalition of Muslim Women, to share her thoughts.
Thank you, Mifra. Assalamu alaikum. Greetings of peace, everyone. We're here today to grieve the loss of 3 generations of a beautiful, kind, generous, and prospering family whose lives were taken away from them in an act of extreme hate. Salman, Madiha, Yumna, and Faiz, together with their grandmother, was out for a stroll on a beautiful summer day when a 20-year-old decided to act upon hate in his heart by hitting them using his vehicle. Salman, Madiha, Yumna, and Yumna's grandmother did not survive. Faiz survived the attack. Tonight, we are here to hold the victims and the lone survivor and their family in our thoughts and prayers. We're here to hold the London Muslim community and the broader London community in our thoughts. We're also here to grieve together as a community, share our hearts out, comfort each other, and spread love. This is what we definitely need in the moment. But we're also here to speak out against hate in all of its forms. We're here so that we would never have to come together again in these circumstances. We're here to loudly ask for change, a change that will put both the structural and physical violence against our Muslim communities to rest forever. We're here to say enough with hateful rhetoric against Muslims. Enough with legislating hate and discrimination against Muslims. And enough with verbal and physical assaults on our streets and other public spaces on Muslims. And we're here to make that change happen. And we will make sure that we hold those who have the power to make change accountable. We're here to ask for concrete actions against Islamophobic violence, both at systemic and street level. We at CMW are joining the London Muslim Community, National Council of Canadian Muslim, and a large number of groups and organizations across Canada in their call for an urgent national summit on Islamophobia involving all levels of government to establish a cohesive, comprehensive plan to end Islamophobia and all other forms of hate. Hate crimes like these are committed to send a message to the communities. Message to the victimized community is a message of terror. You're not safe here. This is not your place. Message to the broader community is a message of horror and helplessness. Our communities have the responsibility to counter these messages with a strong, unified message of our own, that we will not tolerate hate, that there will be accountability and justice, and that we're going to put our hearts, heads, and hands together to drive out hate from our communities. And we know that we will not be intimidated and we will not be defeated. Inshallah, God willing. Let us all hug our loved ones tight and spread love and kindness around to help each other heal without moving our eyes from the goal of ending Islamophobia and all other forms of hate at both the structural and street levels.
Thank you, Fauzia. I'd like to call now on Sarah Shafiq, who is the Programming Director of Coalition of Muslim Women, to please take over the proceedings.
Hello. Thank you, Mifra. Salam, peace be upon you all. Of course, I echo the sentiments of my colleagues, Fazala Appa and Fazia Appa. I'm angry and frustrated. We know that what happened is just the visible part of the iceberg. There's so much invisible hate and discrimination that is unseen, that is seen to us, but it's unseen to the outside world. And us, not just Muslims, racialized people of color, indigenous community, our Black community, neighbors, friends, brothers, sisters. And we know this, and it's very visible to us, but invisible to others. Many are saying that this is senseless, but what happened is not senseless. It makes complete sense. When a whole community and their faith is demonized, when their violence is attributed to their faith, when their violence is highlighted and our violence or violence by state that we are committing elsewhere around the world or by our friends, then of course people like the London family or my family will be fared. I don't entirely blame the 20-year-old who was brainwashed, but those who washed his brains. It's not entirely the right wing. They're just flaming the flames, fanning the flames. It's the mainstream institutions, unfortunately. Media, cultural industry, state institutions. I have much more to say, but I'll stop here for a prayer. I really need a prayer at this point. And I invite Imam Abdul Manan from Waterloo Masjid for a prayer, please. Imam.
Yes, thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Jazakallah. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Wassalatu wassalamu ala Rasulillahil Ameen. Despite all this sadness, grief, and darkness all around us, makes me feel happy to see how much people are showing their concern and trying to do something, whatever they could, at least join the vigil and get together for a good cause, and that many people on short notice. And not only here, when I see this all on the social media, and the messages I am receiving is saying that yes, there are people who will not sit quiet. And that is also a strong message from Islam, that it is not enough to stay quiet, not enough to not to participate in wrong and injustice, but you should stand up against it. That is your responsibility as a good human being and as a good citizen. I would like to take this opportunity to ask the authorities and people that happy to hear their words, but now it's time to put their words into action and do more to eradicate hatred and racism and Islamophobia, and do more than what they had done so far. So I expect that these authorities will stand up to the occasion and listen to these messages and do something about it. With that, I would like to ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, supplicate to him, make dua to him, plead to God Almighty that may he make the souls who are deceased in this hatred rest in peace, and shower his mercy on them, and expand their graves and lit it up for them, and give them the position of martyrdom. And to that innocent boy who is wounded and who is injured, may God Almighty give him complete healing and fast recovery from his injuries, and make him overcome this grief and this loss in his life, what he had. And may God Almighty look after his needs and help him to rise as a good kid and good citizen and a good human being, and fulfill the aspirations of his parents and elders. As I make dua and pray to God Almighty to keep this Canada a place of peace and make it prosperous and save it from hatred and animosity and all kind of wrongs that people may commit here. May God make it a secure place for everyone, for people of all religions. May God help us all, and especially the Muslims of London, Ontario, and all the people of all other faiths to overcome this. And may God help us and guide us to do something, so in the future these kind of tragedies would not happen. Amen. And thank you for giving me this opportunity. Wa sallallahu ta'ala ala khairi khalqi Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in.
Thank you so much, Imam. Those powerful dua for that prayer. Next, I'll invite Sheikh Shafiq Khuda from Islamic Humanitarian Services to please say a prayer for us.
أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين وعلى آله الطيبين. In today's gathering, I first of all want to appreciate and acknowledge the organizers for bringing us all together in this difficult moment, and for at short notice to all the participants who did manage to take time out of their schedules and be with the community today. It is not just an injury for the Muslim community. It is not just a matter of sadness or tragedy for only the Muslims. It is something that has affected all of us. It is something that when I was reflecting upon it, thinking that it can affect any of us could have been walking with our families, as by this is sometimes the only chance that we get to go out and get to the fresh air, and to have somebody as act as irresponsibly, as maliciously, as terroristically as this man has done, is unfathomable, especially in a country like Canada, whereby we have come from different faiths. I often say, except for the natives, except for the original, the Aboriginals, they are the only Canadians. All the rest of us have come from somewhere or another. We have all come to this country 2, 3, 4 generations before from some place or another. Except for these original Canadians, there's nobody else who's a Canadian except all of us or none of us. There's nothing much in between. And so this is something, a tragedy that has affected and hurt all of us. And the Holy Quran reminds us by saying, Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi rajiun, that surely we have come from Allah, we have come from God, and surely to God we shall all return. There is no ifs, buts, or ands about it. There is no doubt about it. The Quran in another place mentions kullu nafsin dha'iqatul maut. Every soul shall taste death. Thumma ilayna turja'un, and to us you will be brought back. The only consolation we have is that justice will eventually be done. Because in this dunya, we often find when some of those who have perpetrated acts of terrorism against Muslims, they either have good lawyers and they get let off with a plea of insanity or this illness or that illness, or they were not doing it and they get off with it. And the most who are Muslims who have perpetrated actions, they get the full brunt of the law. We only have consolation to know that ultimately everybody has to return back to God. And ultimately, whatever happens in this world, those perpetrators of terrorism, the perpetrators of oppression, the perpetrators of injustice will one day see the results of their actions. That's the only consolation we have, because I cannot even begin to imagine the pain that family, the community has been feeling right now. I mean, we have been grateful, and I am truly thankful for so many people who have called me and in our community here in the Kitchener-Waterloo area to express their condolences and their sympathies. But at the same time, this has been something that has brought us together and has given us a chance to share our tears, our sorrows, our pain, our hurt all together. And the appreciation that I extend to all of you for coming together at this short notice is phenomenal. Whether it has been government ministers who are with us today as well, those who are political, social, community, local leaders who are there, my gratitude, my thanks, my appreciation goes to all of you. My condolences and sympathies goes to the family as well. And while we pray for the young boy to be cured, as the respected Imam Abdul Manan mentioned, my other thought was, imagine what life he will be leading without his parents, without his sibling, without those who are near and dear to him. Imagine the hurt, the pain, and the agony that he will be going through for the rest of his life as well. As I said, the only consolation is the Quran telling us that ultimately everything will return back to God. And I thank you all again, the organizers, the participants, everybody who was here with us today, for this opportunity. Our heartfelt condolences. We pray for the end of injustice, for the end of Islamophobia, for the end of hatred of any faith tradition, any faith group. This is something that pains all of us and affects all of us and hurts all of us. We want to live in a country whereby we love each other, we respect each other. And whether we are from one color, race, ethnic background, religious background, faith tradition, we love and care for each other and respect each other. Thank you very much. Peace and blessings of God be upon all of you. Wassalamu alaikum jami'an wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Thank you so much, Sheikh, for your words and prayer. Next, I'll invite our amazing Madia Sayed, amazing youth from our community, and she would like to share a few words, please.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. You may hear many Canadian officials say that what has happened today on Sunday was not Canada. They may say that as a Canadian institution, hate has no place here. Islamophobia has no place here. Racism has no place here. I would like to remind you today that hate, Islamophobia, and racism do have a place here because there are systemic holes and gaps in our laws and constitution that allow and protect them. There are 73 organizations that are classified terrorist groups by Canada. 65 of those groups belong to people of color. There are 6 white supremacy and neo-Nazi groups, in which 3 were added in February of 2021, only 4 months ago. 56 of those groups were Islamic. So let's be clear, among those 73 groups, the KKK is not considered terrorist. There are an abundance of white supremacy groups in Canada that have been murdering, raping, and kidnapping Indigenous women, groups that target and harass people of color in major cities. Canada themselves are guilty of the 215 children remains found last week. The last residential school was only closed in 1996, 6 years before I was born. If the very people who are meant to protect us target the BIPOC community through police brutality and have laws that target Muslims as terrorists, how can I go for a walk with my family thinking I'll be safe because I am in Canada? In light of the recent world issues, many of us are angry, yet we say we are grateful to live in Canada, right? We are in Palestine where they face genocide. We are in China in camps, or even in France with a bigoted government. We are in Canada, the place of diversity where all are welcome. We live in a free Canada where a family was murdered while walking. Canada is not innocent in this issue. They must stop pretending they are a victim along with the rest of us. Canada is very good at saying the right words to pacify the people, but are they making the changes they have promised? When will my hijab be a symbol of the peace it is meant to be rather than a target for hateful people? We cannot accept Canada's sympathy when they have not fixed the broken system. It is for that very reason the monster on Sunday was able to commit a heinous crime. This is Canada. I, like the rest of you, have thought about many what ifs. What if that family was my family? What if it was Madiha Sayed in the newspaper instead of Madiha Salman? What if I was left alone and my parents died? There is a little boy in the hospital right now. If I was in his place, I would say, Ammi, I'm okay. Ammi, hug Appu and kiss Appi for me. Ammi, thank you for teaching me love. If I was in his place, he would be going home today. He would be going home to play, going home to his family, and they would be there to stay. If I was in his place, I would have known that time would continue ticking away, people would eventually move on to the next dismay, and I would be left alone to empty chairs and dusty beds. I know I would have my community and be well fed, but I wouldn't be able to hold my grandma's hands again or smell my dad's cologne. If I was in his place, I would tell him to hug your mother once more. Listen to your father's stories, cook with your grandma, and run with your sister as if it was your last day, because knowing Canada, this incident on Sunday, June 6, 2021, where Salman Afzal, Madiha Salman, mother of Salman Afzal, and Yumna Afzal, a child, would not be Canada's last mistake. Thank you.
Madiha,
Results are on your screen. Commissioners, you have been
thank you so
advised.
much.
I invite the commissioners to vote on the immediate vote when you see them on your voting panel.
Please, everyone, if you could mute yourself and
Please vote now.
let me mute everyone as well. That was so powerful, Madiha, powerful words, and really speaking from the heart, reflecting the sentiment that many of us have. And thank you so much for sharing that with us. Next, I would like to welcome our politicians, our system leaders to say a few words. I would invite Minister Bardish Chagar to please share a short statement, please.
Thank you, Sister Sarah. Assalamu alaikum to everyone who is present. Thank you so much for having us here today. My heart is hurting and I can't get the little boy out of my head. So I apologize for my emotion. Medea, I hear you. And I promise you, we're working day in, day out, but you're right, racism exists. And this is work that we need to do, and we need to do it all together. We've been able to come together as a country to fight a global pandemic. And yes, we're vaccinating, and yes, the light at the end of the tunnel is brighter, but racism has been around a lot longer than COVID-19. And it's true, it's in regards to the systemic issues that exist, and something that we do need to dismantle and break down. And I want you to know that I'm listening, I'm engaging, I'm keeping you in my thoughts and prayers, and I will do whatever I can. And it will take all of us. But as a person who is elected to represent the good people of the riding of Waterloo, I have an especially big responsibility, and one that over the last few days has been keeping me up at night. And I want you to know that we should not live in fear, but fear is real. And so today, I just want you to know that you're in my thoughts and prayers. I am listening and engaging, and will continue working with you. And I am really, really sorry that our Canadians of Muslim faith are having to face another experience. And I'm reminded of when we gathered at Kitchener City Hall just 4 years ago. And here we are again. And many other incidences have taken place that haven't made national headlines since then. But every time I want to know that I learn more, and I promise to do more, and I will continue. So with that, I hope you all keep well and safe. I thank you for the time. I was not expecting it, because I really do believe this is your space. But please do know that I come with all of me to do whatever I can. And I'm not satisfied either, and will continue working with you. So with that, salams to all. Please keep well and safe.
Thank you so much for your just powerful words and sharing your sentiment, Minister Pradesh. So next, I'll invite MP Raj Saini, please, to share a few words.
Thank you, Sarah, and thank you to all the previous speakers. I knew this was not going to be easy. Thank you to the Coalition of Muslim Women for giving us the space and the opportunity to share. When I first heard the news, I was in complete shock. I didn't know how to process my feelings or what emotions I was going through. And I tried to understand exactly what happened, why it happened. And I couldn't put my thoughts together. And then I realized, why is the pain, why is the anger, why is the frustration so much this time? Because in other times when we've mourned, we've been separate. It happened in another province, or it happened in another country. This time, it happened less than 1 hour away. Second of all, when I saw the picture of the family, that was my family. My parents used to take us for a walk. I saw my parents in that photo. I saw my niece and nephew in that photo. I saw my sisters in that photo. My grandmother has been deceased for many years, but I saw her face in that photo. What was their crime? Simply for going to a walk. What was the crime in Quebec? Simply going to a place of worship. Acts that we take to be natural events in our daily lives. But now there is fear. Now we have to worry. What do I tell my parents who are elderly, suffering through this pandemic? The only respite they have is to go for a walk. What do I tell them? Don't walk anymore? What do I tell my brother and sister, my brother-in-law and sister, and my niece and nephew? Don't go outside. It's not safe. Do I stop walking? Do I have to look over my shoulder? The only way we are going to confront this is all of us. All of us have to confront this hatred, this Islamophobia. It's going to take each one of us. Each one of us has to rise to this occasion. Enough is enough is enough. I don't want to attend another vigil again. I don't want those 4 souls whose lives were lost for nothing. We all have to multiply our efforts as much as possible to confront this evil. This was an act of terrorism. This was an act of murder. It could have been any one of our families. It could have been us. We all have to come together collectively now and make sure that their memory, that their murder was not in vain. My heart is broken because of the 9-year-old boy. He's the same age as my nephew. And I thought to myself, if it had happened in my family, what conversation could I possibly have with him? What could I tell him? What explanation could I give him? That he was out for a walk with his family, and this was the result. If we don't confront this hatred, if we don't confront racism, if we don't confront Islamophobia, we don't confront racism in all its forms, what is the core identity of our country? What is the core identity of our society? I will work tirelessly. I will commit all my efforts to make sure that we root out hatred and racism wherever it exists. We will all multiply our efforts. We will not live in fear. We will not accept the result. We will all rise together. This country does not belong to one people or one group. This country belongs to all of us. If one of us is not safe, if a particular community is not safe, then none of us are not safe. Enough is enough is enough. Thank you for giving me the time to share.
Thank you, MP Saini. I absolutely echo your sentiment, your emphasis on just naming Islamophobia. At this point, the recent incident at Laurier, in the statements that were given out by the institutions, local institutions, did not even mention Islamophobia. Like there's a reluctance to even mention that. That is their racism and Islamophobia doesn't just impact Muslims, Sikh community, and other racialized community are also impacted in absolutely all forms. So hatred for the Jews, anti-Semitism, and LGBTQ community, and in all its forms is hopefully the message is going that we are in this together against white supremacy. So next I will invite MP Tim Lewis to please share a few words.
Thank you for this opportunity. Salam alaikum. I appreciate everyone for organizing this this vigil tonight, so people can come together. It really means a lot to me. I did not come here to speak. I came here to listen, and I didn't come bringing answers. I came to hear from you in our community. I'm simply here to show my support and to show my solidarity along with my colleagues. In the news, we hear words like unthinkable or isolated related to these crimes, but unfortunately, in our communities, we know that intolerance and hatred is not isolated. My friend who's a practicing Muslim, she told me today that her mom said now she's too scared to go out for her daily walk. Sorry, in Canada. I'm sorry for the way you're being treated. We send our thoughts and prayers, but we know that thoughts and prayers are not enough. We'll fly our flags at half-mast, but we know that that's not enough. And I just know that many of you are feeling targeted. No one should feel targeted, not for how they dress, not for how they worship, not for how they live. And I simply promise that I will do everything I can to change that and make sure that you and everyone is safe to walk by yourself with your family in your own neighborhood. So my condolences, and I wish you peace.
Thank you so much, MP Lewis. Thank you for that message and for your words. Next, I'll invite, please, MP Marwan Tabara to share a few words. Please, if you please keep your statement to 1 minute, we would really appreciate it.
Assalamu alaikum. Thank you, Sarah, for gathering us here today, and thank you for the Coalition of Muslim Women. Just like everyone else, I'm just very deeply disturbed by what happened, just because it's been so close to home. I lived in London, Ontario for 2 years, and I never seen a community like that. I've always known it to be welcoming community when I went to college there. But today in Parliament, in virtual Parliament, the Prime Minister and all the leaders of the opposition stood in solidarity today to condemn these despicable acts, and has said that there's no place in Canada for this kind of hatred and this kind of racism. However, we must go on. We must go beyond just statements and have further actions. And the federal government has put in place anti-racism strategies, but we need to go beyond that. We need to find the root causes of where these radicalization is coming from, where these groups are emerging, and anywhere we can, we need to stop this hatred in any form. And the government's first and foremost priority is to take care of its citizens, and that was failed on this day. And every politician, every institution, every police force is looking at this incident and saying, where has this gone wrong? And there has to be more done. And we are listening here, as all my colleagues have mentioned, we are here. We're more than welcome to work with you, continue the hard work that your institution has done along with us, and we'll be there for you. We stand with you in solidarity.
Thank you, MP Tavara. Next, MPP Laura Melindo, please, if you could share.
Thank you so much to all of you for being here, and to the coalition for creating this space for us. I have to admit, I am in my home in Kitchener, so this land has been held down, cared for, loved, stewarded by the Haudenosaunee, the Anishinaabe, and the neutral people. And up until Sunday, I would find myself in tears just sitting in my house because 215 little babies were found in BC. And things that the Indigenous community had alerted us to in terms of the history on this soil of residential schools were now in our face, and we were grappling. Flags were at half-mast. And before we could get those flags all the way back up in some areas, here we are, Sunday hit. And I find myself having nightmares. I find myself having terribly difficult conversations. I find myself frustrated with the job that I have, because as a member of provincial parliament, I am part of that institution that isn't necessarily taking Islamophobia seriously. I'm part of that institution that has white supremacist posters found in our community, and the government around us does not see a white supremacist poster as a violation enough, criminal enough, potentially dangerous enough to lay the charges that need to be laid to actually address the root causes of Islamophobia. Depending on who it is that you speak to and who is in your sphere of influence or in your social circles, it might be fairly new to have a real direct conversation about Islamophobia, and it might be even newer to have a conversation about white supremacy. I don't know how we can have a conversation about Islamophobia without having a conversation about white supremacy. So as difficult as this moment is for all of us, and as difficult as it is to hear these words coming out of my mouth, because I know for some folks, it will be hard, I am utterly dismayed that as a community, as a province, as a nation, we say we want to root out hate, but we're unwilling to talk about what is at the root. And at the root, my friends, is an idea that if you are not white, you do not belong. If you are not white, you do not deserve. You do not deserve work or health or life. And as hard as that is for us to grapple with, if we don't start grappling, absolutely nothing will change. Statement after statement, vigil after vigil, death after death, this is where we will be. Whether it's on a Zoom call or in City Hall, having the exact same conversations over and over and over again. Feeling the pain, feeling the sadness, and then slowly but surely trying to pretend like that's an isolated incident from every single thing that we know is happening in our community. When I worked at Laurier, I had Muslim students on campus in our community that would talk about the kind of language that people would use and hurl at them as they walked on campus or in the community. Muslim women who would have people try and tear at their hijab. That was happening before this Sunday. And that was happening here. And so again, as difficult as this conversation is, if we are truly, truly committed to change, then we have to be truly committed to taking a very deep breath, standing in this community and truly saying words that make things feel a little bit harder, but potentially different. So we don't end up in the same place as we were before. I'm from a tradition, I promise I'll stop. I'm from a tradition that started in Nigeria through the slave trade, came to Cuba, from Cuba came to North America. I'm literally shaking right now, but for me, for my tradition, it feels like spirit. And I cannot just end and mute myself like a grown-up without providing a little bit of my spirit to put into this circle of care and love and compassion and empathy and courage that we've created here, thanks to the Coalition of Muslim Women. So just a quick second. Oh, monyale guaya mama Kenya woe. Barasuayo. Oh, monyale guaya mama Kenya woe. Oh, barasuayo eke shonara. Oh, monyale guaya mama Kenya woe. At this crossroads, let's choose love. Thank you.
Oh, Laura, Melinda, this was just so heartfelt. Thank you so much. Means so much, really. And your work speaks to your commitment. We really appreciate that. And absolutely, we are on this land that is indigenous land. We are settlers. We are on the land of Haudenosaunee, Anishinaabe, and the neutral people. This is treaty land. This either side of the Grand River, 6 miles each of the Grand River is promised to our indigenous people, and we are our homes are built on this land. And what are we doing about it? This we can't get that grief, because these are all connected. These issues are absolutely connected, and we are all connected in this. So thank you for that. So next, I would like to invite MP Catherine Fife, I believe, if is here. MPP, sorry.
Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Thank you so much, Sarah, and thank you to the Coalition and Muslim leaders who organized tonight's vigil. So many are hurting in our community, and I hope tonight may offer some solace. Also to our Muslim leaders and community, please also remember to care for yourselves as you and your family navigate such overwhelming grief. I stand with our London family and Muslims across Waterloo region who are again grieving a heinous hate crime that targeted 3 generations of a beautiful family. They were murdered because of their faith. We must move beyond thoughts and prayers and demand action from all levels of government. And to Medea, who spoke earlier, you are right. This is Canada. We know that white supremacy and Islamophobia live in all of our communities, and this hatred has been fueled by rhetoric that seeks to divide us, and it must be challenged at every turn, and that starts tonight. And let tonight be a time to recognize the truth of what actually happened in London, and a call to action in solidarity with our Muslim community. My deepest condolences. Please know that you are not alone in your grief or in your anger, and peace be with you.
Thank you so much, MPP 5. You've been an absolute, really real support for us and the community. Next, I would like to invite, please, Regional Chair Karen Redman. Karen, if you are here.
Thank you, Sarah. I want to thank the organizers, and like Catherine, I really was touched by Amina Syed's words. Our hearts are broken too. And like any community, we join together in our mourning, and we also join together in our anger. So know that we are united in solidarity with you and with the Muslims in London and right across Canada to stand against Islamophobia and racism in all of its forms. So again, heartfelt condolences to all of you who are suffering, and hug the people you love.
Thank you so much, Karen. Chair Redmond. So next, I would like to invite Kitchener, City of Kitchener Mayor Barry Verbanowicz, please.
Thank you very much, Sarah. Assalamu alaikum. Thank you to you and members of the Coalition of Muslim Women for organizing this community gathering amongst your own grief and pain, and for inviting us to join you for tonight's vigil as we come together as community to mourn the senseless and unbelievable Islamophobic attack, this murder against 4 members of the Afzal family in London, Ontario, and to pray for their surviving 9-year-old son, Fayez.
This is very serious.
In the words of the Quran, indeed, we belong to Allah, and indeed to him we will return. On behalf of my colleagues on Kitchener Council and all of us at the City of Kitchener, let me extend my sincere condolences to the extended Afzal family and friends, to Mayor Ed Holder and the people of London, and indeed to our entire Muslim community here in Kitchener, throughout Waterloo region and beyond. The news late yesterday that Sunday's events in London were a confirmed
Yeah, there's
the very act of going out for an evening walk, one of the few things so many individuals and families like many of us on this call tonight could do over the past 15 months on a daily basis, suddenly became something to be feared. And rightly, this has angered all decent people. The events of the past 48 hours have left all of us fearful and questioning many things. This is natural and the first step amidst our shock and our grieving. Tonight we grieve and we stand together virtually with our Muslim community, with London's Muslim community, and with Muslims everywhere. We stand together in love because love always overcomes hate, always. Together, as we cope in this joint journey of grief, we must support each other in the coming weeks and months as we work towards a renewed commitment in our determination to overcome the evil and hatred that brought about this cowardly attack. No Canadian, nobody anywhere should live in fear because of who they are or what they believe in. And God willing, none of us shall rest until this hatred and this racism is destroyed once and for all, for everyone, for everyone. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for your words, Mayor Verbanowicz. Next, I'll invite City of Waterloo Mayor Dave Jaworski, please.
Good evening, Sarah. Salam alaikum. On behalf of City of Waterloo Council, I'd like to thank Coalition Muslim Women for hosting this vigil, and I offer these reflections. You know, on a warm Sunday evening, a beautiful family was doing exactly what people have been encouraged to do during this pandemic, and that's to go for a walk in the neighborhood. What happened next was certainly an Islamophobic, hate-filled act of domestic terrorism that resulted in the murder of this innocent family. When the vehicle hit that beautiful family, that truck hit my family. It hit your family. It hit all of us in the vigil and beyond. We pray for the recovery of the 9-year-old boy, Fayez. Our heart breaks for him and everyone who knows the family, the Muslim community of London, and locally the community here in Waterloo region, and all of us. So sadly, bigotry and acts of racism against the Muslim community are not new. We stand united with our Muslim friends and continue our commitment to build strong, welcoming neighborhoods in nearby municipalities, neighborhoods where we have respect and love for each other, for each and every neighbor, regardless of background. I happen to see that Alan Quarry is in the vigil, so I'll end with 3 words: heart beats hate. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Jaworski, City of Waterloo Mayor Jaworski. Next, I'll invite City of Cambridge Mayor Catherine McGarry, please, to share a few words.
Thank you very much, Sarah. Assalamu alaikum. On behalf of myself and Cambridge City Council, who are still continuing on with tonight's council meeting, I wanted to offer our heartfelt condolences. At the start of our meeting, we had a 2-minute silence in order to remember this beautiful family, to reflect in our hearts how much this hurt all of us. Our hearts hurt for you, for us, for all of our communities. I wanted to say that there really wasn't a dry eye in the room as we reflected on this heinous hate crime that could have happened to any one of us. I just wanted to remind everybody here that we are one community, that we stand with all of our communities, our Muslim communities, and everyone else. And I did want to pause and just reflect that heart beats hate, love conquers all. Allah is with us. We don't know why this happened, but we all know that standing together, we can move forward together and heal together. Thanks so much for inviting me this evening.
Thank
Assalamu
you.
alaikum.
Walaikum Assalam, Mayor McCary. Next, I know we are at 7 o'clock. The time is ticking. Definitely, we're off our agenda time, but we will, by your permission, if we can share, if we can go on probably for at least half an hour, we'll formally close this formal part of the meeting in about 15 minutes. And later on, we'll open it for the community. Just a few more guests and leaders who would like to speak. So if I could invite my sister Fatuma Muse from the Somali Canadian Association to share a few words, please. Fatuma.
Thank you, Sarah. Salam alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Peace be upon you. I am, on behalf of the Somali community here in this region, deeply saddened by the events that have happened on Sunday. I reflect on these events. I think about my 4 daughters who are visibly Muslim women, who they cannot hide their identity, and I continue to encourage to never be afraid of who they are. After these events, I actually wanted to tell them to be afraid.
Sorry, Faduma, your internet is really breaking
How
up.
do we teach our children to love who they are, to walk down the streets, be proud of who they are, and hold their whole head up high, and feel they belong, and feel like they're a part of this community, Canadian community. They were born here, but simply because they decide that they hate them, look, the way they just speak, the Sorry, can you hear me now?
No, Faduma, it's really, yeah, we can't make out anything.
Can you hear me now, Sarah?
That would maybe help.
Hello, Sarah?
Yeah, this is better, Faduma. Yes, please.
Okay, hello? Are you able to hear?
Yes, it is
Hello?
much better.
Sarah, are you able to hear me now?
Yes, Faduma.
I'm gonna try to
Paduma,
turn off
is
my
it
camera and
still,
maybe that will help.
sorry for interruption, it's still not very
that better?
clear. It's not very clear.
So,
Is it
like I was
possible to leave the comments in the chat,
saying,
Fatuma?
and I echo what Lindo said, we need to name it. We need to name it and we need to call out what's happening. I will leave my comments in the chat.
Okay. Thank you, Faduma. Sorry about that. Yeah, just the quality was really not great. So next, I would like to invite my friend Abiha Sayed from Muslim Women of Cambridge to share a few words, please. Quick.
Assalamu alaikum, everybody. And my peace message to everybody here. My heart grieves for the London family as a mother of 4 and as a proud mother of Madiha Sayed, who just spoke a few minutes ago. But today I am speaking as the co-chair of Muslim Women of Cambridge. Muslim Women of Cambridge is saddened and numb as this incident has hit us so close to home. I wish this was an isolated incident, but we all know that racism has been and continues to fester in our neighborhoods. A child lost his entire family. 4 lives are lost because a person chose to hate. Yes, the community outpour and support is commendable, but is that enough? This needs to stop. The only way is to break the systemic racism that allows these terrorists to continue their crimes. Muslim Women of Cambridge stand strong alongside other Canadians to fight racism. We will be heard loud and clear that there is no space for hate, ignorance, and inhumane behavior in Canada. All lives deserve to be treated with respect and dignity. This is the Canada where 215 children remains were found, and how many more are waiting to be found? This is the Canada where a 20-year-old murdered a family in broad daylight. Do we blame the residential schools or the white supremacy? Or do we blame the systems that allows these heinous crimes to happen? Muslim Women of Cambridge calls all federal, provincial, municipal, territorial, and people in power, people who have a voice, to take immediate action to fight Islamophobia head on and dismantle the systemic problem of racism. I believe in a Canada that is filled with love. So incidents like this shake me to the core. My request to all non-colored people is to start by acknowledging your privilege. Please be brave, white people, and acknowledge your privilege and make the changes necessary in higher levels, in policies, so this does not happen. I am an adult of 2021. 50 years from now, my children or my grandchildren should not tell me, Mom, what did you do? Thank you from Muslim Women of Cambridge to the Coalition of Muslim Women and everybody else here. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Bia.
Godly for said comments.
Those are powerful words. If I could remind everyone to mute yourselves, please. Just a few more speakers, everyone. We would invite. Sorry, let me just, mute. Next, I would invite Helen from Shamro's area to share a few words, please. Helen Alarashi, if you could please unmute.
Sorry, I was speaking. I didn't know I was unmuted. So I was thinking of we need to find a solution and what's going on in our community. So we need for those people who are related to like discrimination to disengage them from hate groups and return those white people who feel that they have the right to do these ugly actions, to return them to their families and live healthy and happy lives. They are not happy as well. It's not just us who are not happy. The people who has a heart full of hurt, they are not happy. So treatment often began with recognizing and isolating the root of hatred. So I think we need to look at the program that we have. We need to develop a system to address the root causes this hate, to prevent like extremism and violence. I cannot believe today when I have a meeting on Zoom with one of my clients, I was looking for a job for her to say, see, Helen, I was one of the people who get advantage and we are happy because of the pandemic, because I don't have to expose myself and walk in the road and receive those hate like faces and like something that hurt me every single day. Being at home, isolate myself, it seemed that the good solution until we end this systematic like hate crime in our community. Thank you, Coalition of Muslim Movement, to bring us together. So we appreciate that everybody said that they are recognizing our feeling and they support us, but we need action. More than words. We need something to hear, like there is no hate, there is no space for hate in our community. Okay, what's next? What's the action to prevent this as from like going on in our community? We need actions.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Helen, for your words and for this call to action. Next, I'll invite Zahid Akhtar from Pakistan Association, Canadian Pakistani Association, or Pakistani Canadian Association, to share a few words.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. This is a very sad event to talk about. A family of four, Salman 46, Madiha 44, 15 years old, Yamna, and Salman's mother 74. They were targeted as Muslims and killed. This is an act of terrorism, and we strongly condemn such actions. No lives, Muslims or non-Muslims, should end this way. Why we need to live in fear for being Muslims. We must stay calm and should never hate or be racist against anyone based on color or religion. We pray for the family and their loved ones. Please take care of the people around you, especially your neighbors, and always do your best to leave a positive impact. A fire cannot put out with the fire. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum assalam. Thank you so much, Zahid Akhtar from Pakistani Canadian Association. Next and last on my list of guests is Waterloo Region Police Services Deputy Chief Shirley Hilton, who would like to share some words with us.
Thank you, Sarah. On behalf of the Waterloo Regional Police Service, we extend our deepest condolences to you and the entire Muslim community, as well as all those impacted by this tragic act of hatred. We are saddened by this horrific act and mourn the loss of this family alongside so many members of our Muslim community. There's no place for Islamophobia in any of our communities. We are here for you, we support you, and we share in your anger over this unthinkable act of violence. On behalf of Chief Brian Larkin and all members of the Waterloo Regional Police Service, we stand together with you during this difficult time of mourning, and we stand with you in our continued commitment to combat hate crime and extremism in our community, our province, our country, and our world. Thank you, Coalition of Muslim Women, for bringing all of us together to grieve as a community.
Thank you, Deputy Chief Shirley Hilton. Next, now I will hand it over to my colleague Mifra, who will close the formal part of the program. Actually, just 1 second, I believe, does MSS, Muslim Social Services, Engin, I may have missed your name in the list.
That's okay, Sarah. So I
Would you
can
like-
pass this to
Sorry
my
about
colleague, Laura.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, everyone. Peace and blessings to everyone. And I pass along deep gratitude for all of your solidarity here tonight. My name is Ara. I am the youth representative with Muslim Social Services. And we want to share our desire and our intent to offer ongoing and dedicated supports to our community members through culturally and spiritually sensitive counseling services. So we offer individual counseling by Sister Rosina and Dr. Engin, so they are on the call here. And additionally, I have included our contact information in the chat, so please don't hesitate to reach out should you need support. And additionally, MSS has a range of programs which are catered to bridging gaps in the community, and everyone is invited to our programs. So you can find further information on our website, inshallah. So I'm going to open tonight's reflection with the Mexican proverb, and that states, "They tried to bury us, but they did not know we were seeds." So please hold this in your thoughts. And we are all grieving the murder of a Muslim family who were peacefully walking together in London, Ontario. And we bring this with deep pain and heavy hearts. And this tragedy is the result of a premeditated murder motivated by Islamophobia, hatred, and racism that was fostered and established. And we must recognize the terrorizing repercussions of white supremacy as a dominant force. And the truth is here that this has threatened our sense of safety as Muslims, where it has become the right step where we feel like it is important for us to conceal our Muslim identities as a form of self-protection. And no one deserves that. Sentiments from our imams and our community leaders illustrate the need to enact love, for us to unify together. And something Sheikh Dawood talked about in one of his tweets is this concept of being more Muslim. We should not have to hide. And so by this, we mean smile more. It's sunnah. Be more kind. It's sunnah. Reach out to others and explain what Islam means to you. Perfect your prayers. Wake up at night and pray for guidance. Pray for strength and pray for help of Allah Almighty. My dearest Muslim, don't be scared. Be more Muslim than ever. So embrace faith and goodness as your anchor. Resist oppression to ground yourself. Give more love, give more compassion, and give more care. Because those who are in engaged in hatred, they don't take a day off. And so we in love will diligently continue to bring that, guided by Islam, to remain grounded with strong roots as I return back to our Mexican proverb, and nourish ourselves as the seeds that they tried to bury. So I send you love, I send you healing, and I send hope to everyone. And that's my final thought. Assalamu alaikum.
My Aura, those are just really words coming from the heart. I think these are powerful words. Thank you so much for the reminder, and just sharing your sentiment with us. So I will hand over to Mifra, and then we will open it up to the community to share their words as well. Mifra.
I will not take too much time. I know we are short of time, and I really appreciate it for everybody who's showing their patience. And I know there are a lot of hands up, so I will just quickly go through, but this is important. There are a lot of resources which are available if you're struggling with mental health issues, and I will put, I'll copy all of this information in the chat box so y'all can access this. There are a lot of good people and good organizations who have come forward with their help. And I want to thank each one of them here mentioned in this slide. And of course, I'm going to put in the details in the chat box, but I really, really appreciate the time that they're taking out to share the resources, to share all they can do to help people who are struggling. So I will just, I just want to acknowledge that. We also talked a lot about what can we do next. And we just wanted to show that you can start somewhere. You can start with what CMW is doing about reporting hate. We have an online reporting system where people who have witnessed or experienced any kind of hate crime, hate incident, or discrimination can report it to us, and they can ask for supports, one-on-one supports. They can ask for mediation. There are several supports that are available, and we want the community to know that this is there, this exists. I will be putting this all information in the chat box as well. And I also want to quickly go over what CMW has been doing all this time. We have a hate reporting system. We are going to organize 6 town halls with the WRPS and the Muslim community to discuss issues of safety and hate crimes and Islamophobia. And the first town hall is scheduled on July 13. All are invited, all from the Muslim community are invited. We are doing bridge building. We're also starting brave circles, where people can come and ask Muslims difficult questions, their doubts, and understand the community better. We have support to the victims, one-on-one supports. We also have SULA, which is a restorative justice and mediation service. And of course, we have tea and tails. And I want to delve a little bit on the hate reporting system. For that, I would like to call my colleague, Ikram Al-Momani, who is the lead for the hate reporting system. Thank you. Ikram.
Assalamu alaikum, everybody. Greeting of peace for everyone. My name is Ikram Al-Momani. I am the Hate Incident and Discrimination Documentation Lead for Racism, Islamophobia, and Xenophobia with Coalition of Muslim Women of KW. I would like to share in the beginning a personal story. Yesterday in the morning, I planned with my family that in the evening we are going for a walk because we enjoy walking in the neighborhood or in the local parks. And unfortunately, hearing this news impacted us really badly, and we had to cancel our plan to walk and have this lovely family time that we always share in the evening. Actually, as you know, as a mother of 3 children, my heart is aching, and I am very saddened to lose this innocent family in London. So we all know that many hate incidents and documentations are not reported, and Muslim and other racialized community members don't speak about them. I really want to encourage everyone to report. If we don't report or document these incidents, they will not be noticed. No one will know that they happened. So we need to report them. We have created this reporting system for the community. Anyone can report, witness, victims, bystanders. Everyone in the community can report these incidents, and reporting will help us to understand the problem. That report will track where are these incidents or these hates happening or taking place, and who is this happening to. This will give us a clear picture of the problem and will help us in developing solutions for them. Somebody in the chat was talking about educating, and I really agree with that. Education the community and having this conversation with youth, with children, with everyone in the community is part of that, of these solutions that we are working on. We are collecting incidents from past as well. So please, if anyone experienced or witnessed or heard about any of these incidents, report to our reporting system. And I believe my colleague Mafra has shared the number and it's in the chat. May Allah rest their souls, the family souls, in peace and give them mercy. Ameen. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. Thank you so much. And I would like to thank everyone in this vigil for coming together. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. I was thinking Vifra will lead us to the next session, but I think I'm left on my own. This is time for all of us here in the room to share our sentiments, grief. Just try to be as brief as possible, not more than 1 minute for sure, so that a lot of people can have a chance to say something. I can only do it with the help of Sarah and Vifra. We still have about over 400 people in the room. So please be patient as we take people. Try to do it in the queue, but it might not be fully in the order of you raising your hand to speak. So first, I would like to invite Caitlin, if she's still here. Caitlin had raised her hand earlier. She wanted to speak on behalf, they wanted to speak on behalf of the transgender and LGBTQ community.
Thank you, Fawzia, and it's actually you who are my inspiration for being here tonight, because 5 years ago when the Pulse nightclub shooting happened, it was you and the Coalition of Muslim Women who helped organize the vigil that helped our community. And so I wanted to make sure I was here tonight to speak back to you and say, I'm so sorry that we have to be here at another of these things. And I want to say briefly to my fellow white people, this is on us. All right? There's a reason every time this happens, it's a white person. There's a reason. It's white supremacy. Call it what it is. Don't be afraid to call it out. You see someone taking part in Islamophobia, you speak up. We all know it happens. It happens when Muslim people aren't around. And the people that do this, they're not going to listen to Muslims anyway. So we need to listen to us. It has to be white people that take this on. It's our job to fix it. We're the ones who are doing it. We're the ones who have to fix it. Sorry to get so angry, but I am angry. I'm angry because this keeps happening. And I'm so sick of it. Anyway, my love and condolences to everybody for tonight. This week has been too much. This last 2 weeks, 215 children and now this. And it's just too much. It's too much. I love y'all.
Thank you, Kate.
Thank you.
Love you back. Thank you a lot. Next, we have Bisan Zubi.
I'll be really quick. I just wanted to marhaba. I wanted to say shukran kathir. Thank you so much to Sarah, to Fawzia, to Akram, Abiha, Madiha. Your words are what was needed. And this community and coming together was what was needed. I'm Palestinian, and my father's Muslim, my mother's Christian, I have been grappling with being in between Islamophobia and the racism my whole life. And I see it clearly as somebody who was born and raised in Canada. I was not surprised. I wasn't shocked. We know that hate has been increasing. We know that we see Asian people, Black people, Indigenous people, Muslim people, terrified all over. And the environment that allows that fear to grow is the white supremacy that we're really trying to talk about and isolate and identify here. Because the fact of the matter is all the racisms are feeding into each other. The more we let any racisms fester, the more all of them will grow. So we need to be clear about how when we talk about Muslims and terrorism, and how when we and our media keeps making the same comparisons and the same racist, hateful comparisons about Muslim people, it's on all of us to also dispel that and to break that narrative and say, no, it's not true. All of these things come together and they keep compounding. We have to look at these events as not this vigil for this situation and the vigil last week for a different one. No, our suffering, our trauma is connected, and our liberation and our rights and our ability to live safely and securely in our community is also so deeply connected. It's connected with everyone's security. So I am so sorry. My heart goes out to everybody. We know when we are not safe. We know when we are not being heard. And we know that action is what we are waiting for. Action is all we are going to be satisfied with and nothing less. It's no more time for words. We need to change this system that is harming us, that is abusing us, and that was not going to stop abusing us until it is changed. That's the action, that's the system, that's the solution. Everything less than that is going to keep happening. We need to commit together to fight this problem together. My heart is with you, my thoughts are with you, and my actions and my solidarity is going to be with you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Visan, for these passionate words. Thank you so much for your presence. Next, I have Sadaf Shan.
Salam, everybody. Peace be upon you. I'm going to talk to you as an ordinary Canadian citizen, a Muslim. Basically, I want to talk to our representatives, people from the government, and I don't know if I'm requesting or I'm demanding. I think this is not the first incident. Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, so I know this is not the first hate crime against Muslims in Canada. It has been happening, and I've attended different vigils. And again, for me, thank you everybody for the great speeches. It was great. But if I speak my heart, it didn't make me feel any better. Because for me, it's hard for me to trust that what people are saying, they're actually going to do that. So for me, I demand from all of you that instead of just standing with us using those words, maybe one day you can all come back and say that this is what we have done to address this issue. These are the steps we are taking, rather than just simply saying to us, like, we're all in this together, or we stand with you. Thanks for that. We do appreciate that. But I feel like action is missing. I feel one main solution is education. I have been thinking why this 20-year-old boy committed this crime. There's a reason. Somewhere we as a society failed. Like, I don't know, like parents, they have a responsibility to teach their children. Teachers have the responsibility to teach their students. Government representatives, they have, the authority to make the rules, do something, maybe something in the schools, maybe something in the institutions. But for me, I don't see anything happening. I'm sorry, like it's all just words, but again, that's not enough. Again, thank you, but I mean, I do demand action, and please one day come back with a list of, actions, because this is not the first time. So when you are saying we're gonna do something, I'm like, when? How many more incidents do we need to happen in our society? Like there have been hundreds. I was looking at the stats, and I'm sorry, nobody actually said anything like, about the actions that have been taken. And still something, maybe there's a law, maybe something, So anyway, I'll keep it short. I just I wanted to say what I'm feeling. I'm feeling angry, and I'm feeling sad. Thank you.
And that's completely acceptable, Sadaf.
Thank you.
We pray that peace comes to you and comes to all aching hearts.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Take care of yourself. Take care of your loved ones.
Thank you.
Next, we have Mary Lou Rowe.
Thank you, Fazia, and I'm honored to be here with all of you tonight, and I thank you for organizing this vigil as a place that we can all come collectively to share our grief. I so agree with what was said earlier that this is, all of us are impacted by this event. And I wanted to say, as Chair of Community Coalition on Refugee and Immigrant Concerns, that, excuse me, my words aren't coming to me. The grassroots level of education, as Ekram had said, education is so important. And sharing as a community at the grassroots level is where we can make change. And I want to reach out to the people in the coalition who I know are suffering, and also to all of you that I know that are suffering. And I wanted to reiterate that we are here as a coalition to educate and to build community and to build inclusivity in Waterloo region. And that is more important now than ever. And that we are here for you. So if you need us, please reach out to me directly, reach out to the coalition, and we will work with you. We will work on events with you to bring our friendship and to bring our similarities and all of the relationship building that is possible to make a great community, because I believe that's where change will take place as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Mary Lou. Thank you. Very important. If you can leave some contact information for Coalition for Refugee and Immigrant Concerns in the chat section, that would be great. Next, I have, this is the way people have copied the name, Jah Meeks. I'm sure the name is different, but.
Oh, that's very good, Jameeks.
Okay,
Yeah, I just wanted, I wanted to be here first as a father of a 9-year-old boy. And also Mifra, who's one of the organizers, myself and Mifra, right now are part of a training where we're learning about being active bystanders and standing up for people. And that training starts with a story about Islamophobia and a born Canadian wearing her hijab in BC, who a gentleman who spoke Arabic but wasn't Muslim struck her in the face in front of everybody. The story ends well. We start with that, and then we ask people kind of what they would do at that point, and it talks about active bystander. Everybody shared their story, and I remember when Mifra shared her story, the first thing she said was, I would be extremely fearful, but I know I would have to do something because I also wear a hijab. And we had talked there, we had very positive, this is a week ago, we had this conversation. And now she's here organizing this because an attack happened down the street from her. Like, this is real, it has been here, it is here. It isn't a surprise to people. It isn't a surprise to people who wear hijab every day. It isn't a surprise to people who are of color. It isn't a surprise to those people. They know what could happen. They think about these things and have to navigate these things. And instead of just being at home where it's safe, hiding with her family, she is here now fighting, speaking, and building a platform where people can share their grief and speak and stand up for each other. It is important that we as people, and it happens without, fight these things. When you're in that small conversation and you're hearing those things, you need to nip it in the butt. You need to challenge people on their beliefs, and you need to let people know that this stuff is unacceptable. My heart is felt for not only the family, but that boy who now has to find a way to navigate his own hate as people have taken his whole family away from him. And it's the responsibility of all of us to help him and people in the Muslim community and people in our community do that. So I'm grateful for you guys for giving me some time to speak. I'm thankful for the Coalition of Women, Muslim Women, and the beautiful words of that young youth who articulated everything so perfectly. But thank you for the moment. I thank you for allowing me to be here. And that's it.
Thank you, Jamix. And you said it right, Mifra. We are so grateful to have Mifra and Sarah and a large number of other very passionate women working as a staff, volunteers, members, board members for the coalition. If it's not for women like Mifra and all of these women, we wouldn't be able to do any of the work that we're able to do. Thank you so much. And please know that mental health supports that we are advertising are available for everyone, not just for the members of the Muslim community, please. Next, I have Dawood Barnsby.
Greetings of peace. Assalamu alaikum. Thank you. We're so happy to hear a few of you speak, Sister Sadaf, I know as well, on taking this to children and to schools. I'm a settler here in Kitchener. My great-great-great-grandparents were settlers here from Poland in this city, and my home, or the home where I live in, backs onto a park. And I hear the children in the park, and I hear the racism in children between the ages of 9 to 13. And it's always directed toward the children of color, toward the children who immigrated here with their families or fled from Syria during the war the last few years. My children attending schools here, coming home, talking about all the programs to do with using your wits and zero tolerance for bullying. I've worked for 30 years in the schools here in Kitchener, Ontario, and Waterloo and Cambridge with a program called Kids on the Block, and specifically trying to reach children with a message of inclusivity, dealing with not only children with disabilities, but also dealing with subjects like bullying and mental health. And I know the programs that us grown-ups create, the anti-bullying programs in the schools, they look good in our staff meetings and they look good in our policies and procedures booklets, but they're not working in the schoolyards and they're not working in the parks. And it's starting with those seeds. And as a little food for thought, those of us who are parents, we worry so much when we think about our children getting back to school in the new year when this pandemic lifts. And we're always worried about making sure they've got the right clothes to wear for school, and do their shoes fit and their boots fit, and do they have the pencils and pens and papers and things they need. But do we sit down with them and talk to them about equality and justice and about standing up for each other in the schoolyard? Do we teach our children those things from the time they're old enough to speak and understand the words and the languages that we speak to them at home, about the importance of standing up for each other? So this is just my only advice, is to share is that when we think of our own children and we think of our own schools and the responsibility that all of us have to plant those seeds, because this young man who committed this atrocity was only 20 years old. He is still, a young boy himself. May the creator of this universe help him deal with the hate in his heart, and may the creator of the universe help guide him towards finding peace in his heart. He has a long road ahead of him in this life as well. So let's be strong enough to pray for him and the 9-year-old boy left behind, and maybe somewhere we can find the hope for the children in our playgrounds and in our schools. God knows best. Thank you so much for bringing us all together today. Assalamu alaikum. Peace be with you.
Thank you, Brother Dawood. Jazakallah. You gave me goosebumps, really, like talking about the hate in that child and reminding us all of our responsibility towards our children and young people. We all have so much hope for their future, and we all think that the world will look different for them. But are we remembering our responsibilities towards them? Thank you for that important reminder. Next, I have Karen Spencer from Family and Children Services, Executive Director of Family and Children Services.
Thank you so much, Fawzia. I just want to really express my thanks for organizing this vigil and for the privilege of being in this space to mourn with you today, and to tell you that I share the anger and frustration about the Islamophobia and the hate crimes that continue in our communities. This is close to home for us, as you know. The coalition is a partner in our family center, as is so many other organizations. And I wanted to say, I hear the calls for action. I agree that we don't need more vigils. What we need is action. And I wanted you to know that you are cared for and you are loved. Thank you.
Thank you, Karen. It's really appreciated. Thank you. Next, I have Emil Peterson. Let me just check the name again.
Oh, that is correct.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
I just wanted to say, as a non-Muslim member of the community, I wanted to acknowledge the long history that has existed of peaceful coexistence between Muslims and other religions throughout the Middle East, throughout Al-Andalusia, as exists today in many of the Muslim countries throughout Europe and throughout the Middle East and other places. I would like to acknowledge, as a non-Muslim member of the community, that the Quran contains the words, "Lakum deenukum waliya deen," to you is your religion and to me is mine. And to acknowledge that the narratives that are being propagated by white supremacists and by Islamophobes are incorrect, invalid, and are not based in a true understanding of the Islamic religion or its history. Although I'm not trying to prescribe a solution, I had a thought that I would like to share with any members of parliament, anyone else, representatives, and anyone else on this line, is that in my view, acknowledging this act as an act of terrorism is not a solution in any sense, but is still something that contributes to saying that all acts of violence are equal and that there are no innocents who are more victimized than other victims. I'm not sure if I'm getting that point across correctly, but if there is someone who is looking for something to do, one thing that could be done, and I'm not trying to say that this is a solution, could be to request your MPs and MPPs to ask the prosecution to press terrorism charges against the person who committed this horrific murder. With that, I would like to say Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu to all of our Muslim community members. And thank you very much for the privilege of attending and for an opportunity to be here and to speak with you all. Thank you.
Thank you, Emil, for this heartfelt message, for your words, and for your solution or the idea to bring some justice in this difficult situation. Thank you so much. Next, I have Kashif Mehman.
Yeah, thank you, Fawzia. Assalamu alaikum. When I came to Canada in 2005, I was excited. I said, you know, this is a great country, and the country has acknowledged me in many professions. I thank you, Canada, for that. My son was born here also. I grew up in a society where we had the aftermath of the violent Afghan war in Pakistan. The spillover was absolutely horrific. And so I came to a G7 developed country, the leader in human rights. And after every incident of violence against any group, whether it's Islamophobia or anything, my son who was born here keeps asking me the question, why did you have to come to Canada if there's killing here also? Where are we going to be safe? I'm sorry, I have run out of reasons, Canada. Give me an answer before I think of start to leaving you. Get your house in order. Go back to your basics. Your schools, your neighborhoods, your universities, your colleges need you. Do it soon. Otherwise, I don't think it's going to work out. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Kashif. Thank you, Kashif. We hope that you will never hear this question from your son again. I hope Canada becomes the place for him, for you, for everybody else to feel safe. Thank you. I have Deborah Rice on the list next.
Hi, this is really hard. And I'm sorry because I'm white. Why should I say it's hard for me?
It's hard for everyone.
Yep. So I live in London, Ontario, and I live a walk away from where the family was murdered. It's where I walk. It's where I run. It's where I go on a daily basis. And I was outside on Sunday night when the emergency vehicles responded. And I wondered what has happened, because for 10 straight minutes at least, I heard fire and ambulance and police, just one after the other. And then when they were done coming from the one end of the city to the other, I heard them coming in the other direction. And so I was trying to figure out what, like an explosion, major accident. I didn't know. For the time, not knowing what had happened was terrible. And then as the information started to come in, it got worse and worse and worse. And it's terrorism, because it's not just the family that has been killed and the lives that have been taken. It's everybody else now who's affected by this, because we don't know when we go out there. Like, it could have been anybody. I could have been walking there, and because somebody hates somebody else, other people are going to die from this. I went out yesterday. I walked down, because there's a little memorial that at the corner there. I could hardly breathe as I was walking down there. And I had to cross the crosswalk, and it's affected everybody. I went down again today just because I feel like I have to say a prayer. And there's more people going there to the corner, to the memorial. And they're Black people and white people and brown people and people with all kinds of clothing on. And we're all hurting it, and we're all mourning. And we're angry. And I appreciate the vigil. I felt like I couldn't go to the one in London because of the COVID restrictions. And I just don't even know what to do with how I'm feeling. And it's just, the community is really hurting. So it's the Muslim community, it's the London community, it's the Canadian community as a whole. We're all affected by this. Thank you.
Definitely, Deborah, definitely. Please do not take it easy. Make sure that you seek support for yourself as well. Yeah. It's very sad to hear from someone who sort of witnessed and lived and relived. Very hard to hear. I have Dan on the list next. Thank you, Deborah. Please take care of yourself. I have Dan on the list next. I don't have a last name, so I hope there is only one Dan. Is Dan here and is still available to speak?
Yes. Sorry, I meant to put Maharaj. So I'd really like to address a concern. So hello, everyone. First of all, my name is Dan. Thank you for choosing me. Now I'd like to what happened, right? To the family, and I'd really like to address it. So we're a very diverse country. It's really that this has happened with Islamophobia and racism happening in this country. I think it's really terrible incident that happened. And I really just can't imagine what the 9-year-old is thinking right now in the hospital, his parents gone, and I believe it was the grandparents too, and waking up with no parents. And I believe there was a sister too. I don't think, as Canada is a first world country, we should not have to worry about fear going to the outside. We should not have to worry about fear going to the grocery store or the local meat store or whatever. It's really sad what has happened with this. And I heard crime rate or something went up 50% up. And it's just really sad that this is happening. And yeah, I give my condolences to the family. I just really wish the best of luck for another speedy recovery for the 9-year-old son. And it's just really sad.
Thank you so much, Dan, for your presence. Keep remembering the victims and the lone survivor. Keep him, especially the little kid, in your thoughts, definitely. I have Ithar Noreen on the list next.
Yes. Assalamu alaikum, everybody. Thanks to the Coalition of Muslim Women for organizing this vigil. It's a great platform for all of us to express our feelings, our emotions, our sadness for the sad crime that happened Sunday. My condolences, and my heart goes out to the young boy, and I pray that that Allah heals his heart, and that he will find peace.
Hey, Mama.
What I also wanted to say, what I also wanted to say that I've always been trying to avoid this type of difficult conversations with my kids. I try to teach my eldest son that just like that everybody's equal. I myself come from a Sudanese heritage, from Sudanese Canadian. I speak Arabic, and I identify myself as a Black Canadian, and I'm a Muslim as well. So I have many things that I need to, that people can discriminate against on their own. I have all of them. So I always try to avoid having this conversation, as I said, with my son. And I try to tell him that peoples are probably maybe childish, but I explain it as fruits. We all come from different parts of the world, but you can't tell for sure that strawberry is more delicious than orange or than grape. Everybody has his own beauty, right? So I think the conversation has to shift now. And I say that with not with an ease, but I think I have just for safety, for him to be aware. He's 11 years old now, so this could have happened to him. I'm trying at the same time to balance the conversation, because I don't want him to live with fear. This is not a way of living. And as Aurora said before, it's the only way is living with love and trying to just be more of a Muslim. This is the only way we can move forward, I think. The other thing that always crosses my mind, the person who committed this crime is 20 years old. He's so young. He's been brainwashed. The problem for me is that if it's somebody older, he won't worry that much. I know that there are some people still think this way, but if it's still happening with this generation and younger, the problem is still there. Problem is deeply rooted, and really something has to happen for this to stop. Thank you. I will stop here. Thank you everybody for listening.
Thank you so much, Ithar. When you said that making a choice between, do you tell your child how to be safe, or do you want to raise them to be free spirited and enjoy and just free of fear? What a sad choice for parents to be thinking of. Thank you so much. I hope you find the balance. I hope all of us will find that balance. Thank you so much. Next, I have Batul Kharbatuli.
Yes. Assalamu alaikum. Hi, everyone. I'm so sad today and yesterday. I have many emotions, and sure, bad emotions. I'm Syrian. I came Canada 3 years ago as a refugee, and all bad memories started jumping. When we know about Indigenous people and how they found 250 students there, I started feeling very sad. Even they are human at the end. And I shared with my kids the story and we sent our prayers for them. But when again this happened within 1 week, it was, for me, I can tell you yesterday, I couldn't sleep. I have the same emotions that I came or I suffered from years ago when I was in Syria, when I heard about people killed here and there. So I hope really we have action, we educate our community about Islam and about message of Islam. And I know Coalition of Muslims Women and other organizations are doing that. I'm also one of admins in the Women Empowerment Society. Even we are in social, our social gathering, but we still focus that this is our priority, that to educate our kids and to educate community more about Islam and about, we are calling for peace. Our passenger always, our Messenger Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam always told us to be like, even when we say Assalamu alaikum, peace upon you. So this is the message that all the community should be aware about it. Yeah, today conversation with kids was very hard to talk about this accident. We need actions. We need to feel more safe here, and I feel so sorry for the boy who is 9 years old, and I hope that all of us send prayers for them. And I will ask all Muslims that please read Al-Fatiha and send to his parents, and thank you, Coalition of Muslim Women.
Thank you, Batul. Thank you. Please take care of yourself, take care of your family. I know a lot of us are suffering from a lot of pain. Do whatever you need to do. Please reach out, seek mental health support. Also encourage others to seek help, to talk to someone who can at least listen. It's very important. Next, I have David Marskell, CEO of the museum in downtown Kitchener.
Thank you very, very much, Fazia. At the last gala of the Coalition of Muslim Women, the evening ended with my accepting on behalf of the museum the final award of the evening. It was the Friendship Award. And it was humbling to have a friend offer that award. That friendship began long ago when I was younger and Fazia was young. For those who joined this evening not familiar with the coalition, I urge you to view this as the beginning of a friendship. To get involved, to participate, to see their art shows, definitely enjoy their food and galas, and learn as I do each time that we are all the same. We are one. Thank you for all of the warm messages this evening. I am deeply saddened and offer my condolences to everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, David. We are very proud of that partnership and really appreciative of the friendship. Did I use the word partnership? It's not partnership, it's friendship. Thank you. Next on the list, we have Zohra. Zohra is one of our board members. She's serving as secretary this term.
Hello, everyone. I'm sorry I won't be able to turn my camera on. I'm on emotional wreck right now. Thank you for coming together. I wish we were meeting in better circumstances. My name is Zora, and I'm a mother of 2 young boys. I'm a daughter, a wife, and a sister. My parents live in Pakistan, and I have not seen them in 3 years. Since this incident happened, my parents have been calling me every couple of hours. And my dad, who taught me how to speak, who taught me how to stand tall and be brave and speak my mind, told me this morning, he begged me to take my hijab off. He said, can you please not be visible? Can I please protect you from this far away? I said, Baba, please don't say that. I will feel naked. I will lose my identity. And we couldn't speak after that. I'm just hurting. I don't know how to fix this. I don't know what to do except to say prayers. I'm sorry, I can't talk anymore. I just wanted to share.
Thank you, Zora. It's not fair. It's not fair that you are asked. You find yourself in these circumstances where you're asked to choose between safety and what you want to be in the world. It's not fair. Thank you for sharing. I don't have any more names on the list, but we are here for as long as you need to be here. Also, please make use of the mental health supports that are made available by the generosity of many of the organizations here. Muslim Social Services is offering it. Individuals, Sanjay Govindraj, also Ghazala Fazia, and tomorrow I think we'll be announcing a couple of other agencies opening mental health supports as well. Please seek support as you need. And we are here. If there is anybody else who would like to share, please raise your hand. I can see.
Well, yeah, there is
hands raised.
Shay. Yeah, there's Shay
Oh.
and Priscilla who have their hands raised up.
Right. So I'm watching the teams as well. So we'll start with Priscilla then. Priscilla Jamal. Priscilla, are you here? Still available to speak? Okay, we'll go to Shay and then we'll go to Fatima Hussein. If Priscilla comes back, we're going to hear from her. Shay.
Hello. Thank you for letting me speak. I am not a Muslim, but I stand with you tonight. I am a minority. So the stuff that I'm hearing just breaks my heart. I have two little girls, and I've said this before, but with my wife, you know, I'm very proud of my heritage and my background, but we're thankful right now that my girls look Caucasian. And every time I say that, that breaks my heart. You know, the fact that I feel I don't have to worry for them because they look white and not my skin color, and that breaks my heart a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I'm angry. I'm gonna say it. I'm pissed off right now with everything that's going on, but I want people to know to choose peace too. You know, don't resort to violence. Don't react. It's okay to be angry. It's okay to be pissed off, but please do not resort to violence no matter what, no matter how angry and stuff you get. By choosing peace, that's how you win. That's how you beat people like this. Thank you.
So true, Shay. No matter how angry, how hurt you are, always, every day choose peace. Every day choose peace. Thank you. Fatima? I don't see Fatima, but the name is Fatima, so my apologies.
It's me. We're together. Can you hear us?
Oh, yes, now I can see. Yes, thank
This
you.
is Fatima. This is Fatma.
Yeah.
Actually. More like Fatuma. So Madhya said almost everything that I would have wanted to say. But I think maybe there's one thing that I could add about the roots of racism, Islamophobia, white supremacy, hatred, even fascism, I think would not be a word that's out of place. Someone also talked about education. This 20-year-old boy, young man who did this crime, how did he get educated? How do people learn? They don't learn from the fine words. The words we heard tonight were all necessary, but people, especially people like him, do not learn from that. They learn from example. And what example do they see when they look at the leaders of this country, or when they look at the kind of actions that this country carries out around the world, I'm sorry to say. They see that Canadian soldiers can go to Afghanistan and kill Muslims who have done nothing whatsoever to Canada, and there are no repercussions. they see that in Quebec, there are blatantly discriminatory laws. You cannot wear hijab and be, I don't know, a teacher or something like this. Nothing is done. The central government does nothing about it. And then they turn on the TV 2 weeks ago. Well, they see, maybe it's more than 2 weeks, they see bombs falling on Gaza. They see children dying. They see buildings crushed. And what does our prime minister say, or our leaders? Well, these people have the right to defend themselves. That is, the Israelis have the right to defend themselves. So what lesson does someone like this killer learn? He learns that it's perfectly all right to kill Muslims, to kill people who are not of European descent, and there'll be some words, but there'll be no repercussions and no actions. If we really want to educate people in the way that's really necessary, we have to stop this kind of activity, and we have to prevent it from going unprotested. And that includes most especially what our own country does in our name and with our tax dollars in the rest of the world. Salam alaikum.
Walaikum assalam. And so true, when us elders, people who are leaders of communities, of nations, do not shy away from violence, this is the lesson that we teach our younger ones. You cannot ask the young ones not to be a bully in the schoolyard when we ourselves become bullies in the world. Thank you so much for that message. I have Priscilla on the list, she's back, and then Asra.
Hello, sorry, this was Bas and Kostandi. This is actually the invite. I got it from my wife. That's why
Okay,
it has
no
her
problem.
name. Yeah, and I'd like to just state my heartfelt emotions and for the people who have suffered most. And thank you everyone for all that is happening here in this vigil. The small thing I would like to share is that it's something that echoes what somebody just said, like a few raised hands ago, about the relationship between people of different religions and sects, and that how good that can be, and how actually by default it's usually good until somebody comes and starts introducing a different agenda. I lived all my life, not all my life, but all through the Lebanese war. That was 15 years. It was quite a difficult thing, but not every moment of it was war. It was a civil war, and I lived in an area where there were lots of Muslims, and I'm a Christian. My best friend was a Muslim, and in this area, despite all the differences that were there because of the war, or which were sometimes creating the war, people were actually holding and coming together all the time, and they knew, because maybe I don't know why they were able to overcome all the political differences, but the society knew that whether you're Christian or Muslim or whatever it was. I mean, we were all living there for so many years before, and we had that strong bond. And it's also something that we lived, which I can even go back to my parents, who were Palestinians. They were expelled from Israel. My mom used to look at me, later on when we came to Lebanon. She used to tell me, "What is all of this? What is happening?" We used to look after our Jewish neighbors' kids. Like, where is all this coming from? I mean, I mean, this idea that all these different people, they have to hate each other is untrue. It's actually, and the way to fight that is to actually come together and realize that all these ideas, they just come from different people who have a different agenda. So or any other this comes from really
bitch, I like bad, I like bad hard, I like bad hard, you fat bitch, I like bad hard, you fat bigger, you fat bigger, fat bigger, fat bigger, you lick my belly very much, oh yeah, no, I like bad hard, I like bad hard, you fat bitch, you fat big hard baby, you fat big hard baby, you fat big hard baby, I like bad hard, I like bad hard, sugar blood. Sugar blood, 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 sugar blood.
Can you mute everyone, please?
Sugar blood, sugar blood, sugar blood, sugar blood. I'm sugar blood, bitch. I'm sugar blood. I'm sugar blood, bitch. I'm sugar blood. I'm sugar blood. I'm sugar blood. I'm sugar blood.
Please, everyone, hold your place with calm. It's just so crazy that even these spaces can be violated like that. It's just so crazy. Please be calm. Thank you for your words. And I forgot your name. I'm sorry. You introduced yourself with the name. I will, please do not let any people, don't let people in. We don't know who is coming. There's still people here who are here. I can't believe you need to have a very strong heart to do this. Please, everybody be calm, be quiet. Uzma, Sarah, please kick out people who are here.
Sure, Fazia.
With hate, please start expelling them quietly.
Right.
And everybody else, we all just take deep breath. We will not be defeated.
I am, my system is really slow.
There is an Alex, there's an Alex typing homophobic comments. This is very, very sad.
Okay, my system is really slow because I'm.
No worries, take your time. Take your time. We will stand our ground. Make sure the chat and the registration is all saved.
Okay.
Everybody just be patient, be calm. Ishant, can you please leave a comment in the chat section, about what would you like to share?
Fazia, do you want me to unmute Shai and then he can speak because only the admin can unmute?
Who?
Do you want me to unmute somebody?
No, not at all. We will hear from Asra. And I would like Ishan to introduce himself in the chat section first. Asra? Do you feel comfortable opening your mic and speaking? Are you okay?
Fazia, I have to unmute her. Just give me a second. Yeah?
Can you please do that?
Sure.
Oh gosh.
Yes, Asra.
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum assalam.
First, I'd like to say thank you, Fawzia and the Coalition of Muslim Women for organizing this. I'm really sorry. I was going to switch on my camera, but after just this incident of some hackers getting in, I'm not going to switch on my camera. But this is so sad. I mean, you know, all of you and the whole community set up a vigil. We're here to talk, we're here to express, but even this gets hacked, right? Allahumma astain. the only reason why I raised up my hand was just to express like how all other, sisters and brothers have expressed their feeling. It's been really, really, really sad. And I haven't been able to sleep. I'm a mother of 4 kids, and mashallah, my kids are different ages, from 15 to a year old. And we wear hijab, and I go outside all the time. But as other sisters have mentioned, we couldn't step out of the house yesterday, and I don't even know when I'm going to be able to, or when I'd be ready to step out of the house. My older one, she's a daughter, she goes to Catholic school, right? I mean, in our community already in Catholic schools is very, very less. And now after this incident, when schools are going to open up in September, my idea and my notation was to send her back to school because of, kids being cooped up in the house. But now I don't know whether I'm sure about that decision or not. I am supposed to go back to work. Now, I don't know if I want to do that. I think I just want to stay home and continue working from home. Is this how we're going to be living our lives, just secluded in between our walls? And like, this is unacceptable. Like, leaders of this country have to step in now. It's high time to, take action now, immediately. I would recommend, I don't know if this is possible for Coalition of Muslim Women or not, but maybe, since COVID restrictions are going to be easing out a little bit, maybe have like a peaceful gathering to, outside in like a park or somewhere, just to show our, attendance, just to show what we are going through. And yeah, that's all I wanted to say. Jazakallah khair.
Thank you, Asra. I'm so sorry personally that in this safe space, this space that we thought would be safe, you had to feel, you were made feel unsafe. Very, very sorry about that. Please, please, please seek help. And also, again, I want to assure you, this is our place. These are our neighborhoods. These are our communities. Don't feel defeated. Please don't feel defeated. If we leave the ground, then only hate will prevail. Thank you. Faduma, you have your hand raised, or was it raised before? I'm not sure. I don't have any more names on the list. I'm not sure if Faduma is still available. I saw her hand raised, but it could have been like a legacy hand. Ozma, do you have to unmute Faduma?
Yeah.
Are you controlling the microphones?
Yes, I have unmuted her.
Okay.
Faduma, can you speak, please?
Yes. Hi. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Can you hear me now better than before?
Very well. Very well.
So first of all, the fact that people thought they could come into this space and invade a safe space just speaks to the level of entitlement and privilege that a few folks within the communities that we live in this country, what they feel. Like how privileged, how actually entitled do you feel that in a place where people are mourning, you can still attack them and re-traumatize them? How privileged do they think they are? So at the end of the day, what I wanted to say earlier, on behalf of all of the Somali community and myself, we are very deeply saddened by this situation. But things like this have happened before, and they will continue to happen unless we actually get to the root. And I want to echo what Laura May Lindo said regarding white supremacy and regarding privilege, white privilege. It exists. We need to name it. We need to call it what it is. And we need to do the work that it takes to dismantle it. It is not easy. It is a very difficult, uncomfortable place to be in. It's a hard conversation to have. But we need to reflect and we need to realize, why is this happening over and over and over again? Why are the same communities, marginalized, racialized, indigenous communities, continue to be re-traumatized? A lot of these communities, immigrant communities, have moved from other countries that are war-torn, have seen people die in front of them, have had their human rights taken away. And they've come to a country where they now felt like they could be safe, They could have a right, their voices are going to be heard, and they're in a position where it's not. Can you imagine going for a walk with your family and waking up as that 9-year-old boy and not having your mother and father, no matter what extended family that boy has, they will never fill the void that he will feel losing his mom and dad. So the amount of times that we continue to talk and shout out all those words, equity, inclusion, there's no such thing. We need to start embedding these things in places such as education system. We need to start creating spaces for us to discuss, to question, and to talk about why these things are happening. And not just with adults, with children. He was 20 years old. What is the level of hatred that he has for a Muslim person walking down the street, minding their own business, in order to actually premeditate that? To have that premeditated and want to actually plan to execute an entire family, or to execute or to kill or to plan to actually attack individuals based on their religious beliefs, based on the color of their skin, doesn't matter. What level of hatred has that person seen? Where is that coming from? So the education is not only on educators in classrooms. It starts in the home. It starts with the examples that we are setting, the conversations that we are having with our children. Believe it or not, children pick up on things that we're not necessarily saying. The body languages, the way we feel about certain things, the way we react to smells and foods, and the way people look, and kids pick up on everything. So when that's a learned behavior, it's going to be very difficult to do the work to unlearn that behavior. And now all of a sudden we have all these beautiful keywords. Let's unlearn this. Let's dismantle that. Let's inclusivity. Let's create equity. But all of those are just high fly words. There's no action behind it. And it angers me. It angers me that we continue to create spaces where we're having conversations with the actually traumatized community themselves, and we're looking for solutions from them, but we continue to never ever bring them into spaces where the systems need to change. The systems in every level, whether it's policing, whether it's education, whether it's the law, there are many gaps and holes in these systems. And unless we actually are ready to do the work, I'm speaking to all the politicians in here. It is our voices that got you where you are. It is our voices and the message you were preaching at that time when you were running for office that we believed in you to do the work. And I hold you accountable. Each and every one of you, I hold you accountable. I have 4 beautiful daughters, and for them to walk down that street today, and they're visible, they have their hijabs on, and for somebody to attack them and to show them hate because of the way they look and the way they dress, I hold you accountable. I hold you, the policymakers. I hold you, the ones that are actually in office, that are in your air-conditioned office, making the money and living your lives and being so far removed from our lived experience. I hold you accountable. I hold you accountable. It is your job to come to connect with us, to work with us, and to figure out solutions. We are done having the same conversations. I am sick and tired of it. I am an immigrant to this country. I came here when I was 6 years old. And I know more about Canada than I do my own country. That's how much Canada meant to me. But after what I saw yesterday or Sunday, are you kidding me? I don't even know how to tell my kids not to be afraid because I'm afraid for them. I'm afraid for them. So now I'm grappling with the fact of, should I let my kids live their life or should I keep them boxed in my house? So the fact that our God-given right, our human right to live, our human right to walk, our human right to breathe is coming under scrutiny and it's coming under attack. I hold every single one of you politicians in this place today, not just to stand with us in solidarity, but to actually take the actions and to do the work, to want to actually do better, not just say we need to do better, but we need to do better. And you need to come and meet all of us, community members, community leaders. Muslim Women Coalition is awesome in the work that they do. We have the solutions. We need you to do the work. We need you to meet us halfway. I am so tired of having the same conversations. And it is not fair to our children who don't see themselves as immigrants. My 4 kids that were born here, you cannot tell them they were immigrants. They were born here in Waterloo region. But somebody will decide to make them feel less than, and somebody will decide to tell them they are different, and somebody will try to put them down and make them feel that the way they look and the way they dress makes them something that is not to be loved and something that is to be feared. It is your job to work with the community. It is your job to extend your voice and your power and your positions to do the work. And I am holding you accountable today. I am holding you accountable. It is time to put action behind your words. You are just as accountable for what happened in London. And London is an hour away. That can happen. And incidents happen like that every day here. It just goes unreported. How many sisters have gotten their hijabs pulled off? How many? So to my Muslim brothers and sisters in this chat today, or in this vigil today, I'd like to tell you that you are loved. We will not be erased. We're not going anywhere. We will not be erased. We're coming back stronger than ever. And thank God for our religion that teaches us peace and love. We will never come back with violence. We will never come back to hurt somebody else. We leave that justice to Allah. We leave justice to God. There will be a day of justice. But what I ask you from the politicians and those that make the policies, do your part. Hold the spaces. Create accountability. Let's work together. Please and please, this is not for my children only, it is for your children. We are breeding a level of hate that has gone to another level. For someone to actually meditate to take an entire family out just for going for a walk and they don't like the way they look. Like, that's where we're at, and it's 2021. We are not progressive in any way. We are going backwards and backwards and backwards. So let's work together to correct this. And to my Muslim brothers and sisters, like I said, you are loved. You matter. We're not going anywhere. You're not going to disappear. And I stand with you. Islamophobia has no place anywhere. Anywhere. That's all I have to say. Assalamu
Faduma, thank you so much. I wish we were doing this in person. I wish we could all have given you a hug. I heard the heart. I heard the anger. I heard the frustration. And I heard the call for accountability very, very clear. And I hope that this is heard by everyone who has the power that you are asking for the change to happen. It was heard loud and clear. I heard it loud and clear for sure. Thank you. I have Deborah Rice. The hand is raised. I'm not sure it's a new raise or the old one. Uzma, you will have to unmute.
Yeah, I have unmuted her. Deborah, can you please speak?
There we go. There we go.
We will have Omar after that.
Okay. No, I just wanted to thank you for remaining so calm during that attack. I've never experienced anything like that. And I'm like quite shocked by it. And if that is even a part of what people who are not white experience on a daily basis, for me, it's like a really big call to action. So that was awful, but thank you for remaining the calm.
Yeah, that's okay. You don't want to learn this skill, but sometimes that's your lifesaver, right? Yeah. Thank you. Omar.
Hi, I hope you can hear me all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't really know how to like word this properly, but my condolences go to the 9-year-old boy who died on Sunday. And I'm 18 years old and I love to go outside and I love to go just walk by myself in the street. And it's like my parents, they immigrated here from Pakistan. And so for first generation Canadian children, they have to make a home almost out of nothing. Like we come to this new environment and we are supposed to feel that we belong in here. We're supposed to make a community in here. And so when we can't even go outside and go for a walk without feeling like, when we get exposed to these news, like I was actually scared because I was like, that could have been me, that could have been my family. And it's just very disturbing. And I also want to touch upon like especially for like the children, like my generation who are Muslim and who have parents that are immigrants, like they often live a very duality of a life. So like in schools, often growing up, like every time we learned about any Muslim country, it would always be about honor killing, ISIS, the Taliban. Like all I learn about would be negative things about Islam or from anything in Muslim countries. And I feel like what the education system needs to realize is that the people that they're teaching, they are from the exact cultures that they're learning from, but they're not like, if you're teaching kids about like the Taliban, like not like kids, even though they're Muslim, they cannot relate with it at all. And it's like in schools, you learn about all these negative things, and then you come home and you're supposed to, pray 5 times a day and wear traditional clothes and like speak your native language. And it's just like really hard to like find a place in society when you just feel like you're constantly battling between appreciating your religion, but then also trying to like, make yourself seem like Western. I don't know how to say it, but like non-Muslim, I guess. Like it's just really hard to appreciate your identity, but then also feel ashamed about it when you constantly get exposed to it. And I feel like things like Islamophobia, I feel like maybe there's like many stems to it, but one of the reasons I feel is like the amount of negative news you're constantly being told about Muslim countries, about Muslims. We're never told about anything positive, and I think that really needs to change. So assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam. Umar, I cannot tell you how, like, you really touched my heart, and I'm sure a lot of other people's heart. I'm sure it wasn't easy for you to share so openly and so generously. We hear you, the struggle that you go through every day. It's not the struggle that older people like us have to go through. Definitely. We did immigrate to the country, and you did not make the decision, just like my children did not make the decision to immigrate. And we also heard from Kashif earlier about that. We just hope, we just pray that you find peace, safety, acceptance, belonging in your new home. And love. Oh my God, there's so much hurt in the room. Please take care of yourself. There are mental health supports available, Umar. Ithar, you have your hand raised.
Fozia, can we have Matilda? You had been.
Oh, sorry. We have someone else. Yes,
Yeah,
please.
Matilda.
Oh, hi.
Yes.
It's Matilde.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm just thinking, of love. Unconditional love is what we need. It's not all this other like conditioned. It sounds like all this is conditioned love, but what is that? I often think of conditioned love, unconditional love, because when I meet anyone, I look at for the you inside of you. It's my soul meets your soul. So your shell, what you look like, what you've done, how you behave, that is not of importance to me. What it is I look at the you inside of you. And it's, oh shoot. Actually, I wanted to read something that I wrote, and it is about unconditional love. It's very short. What I wanted to say actually is that I believe we are here to love and to be loved unconditionally. Deep within our very core, we are all the same. We are all worthy of love and belonging, and we radiate our light when we share, forgive, have gratitude, have compassion and reverence for all of life on earth. And I wrote a little bit more before this, like before I actually came on, and I thought of, what happened in London. I actually wrote something, but I'm not going to read it because it's long. Maybe I'll send it.
Please do. Or post it on a social media, tag us on your post.
I don't go on Facebook, so I don't know if I can email it to somebody. And then if someone wants to do that, they have my permission.
Definitely. We can definitely do that. So I think we have Gail next, and then Ithar.
No, Fozia. Sorry.
Sorry, I'm getting different messages. I think there is a message in Teams, and that's why I'm calling Gail first.
Sorry, Fazia, no, we just wanted to say that Gail seems to be in real distress. If you're not feeling well, please reach out to the mental health supports that are being listed. So please look after yourself. These are difficult. It is a difficult conversation. Look after yourself. Please reach out to those.
And if you need to leave this conversation now to take care of yourself, please leave. Don't feel bad at all.
Yeah.
Look, the hurt right now is immense for everyone. Take care of yourself so that you can take care of the world.
I'm Gail.
Yes,
Have you
Gail.
heard me?
Yes, Gail.
Yes. Yes. I had experienced post-traumatic stress disorder, and it's by the carelessness and the about people's lives. And it is very, very difficult to channel your, or to recognize, or to feel your hatred, your anger, and to channel it into love, or to channel it into positive action. And our culture is not good at recognizing that emotional journey, and our culture is not good at experiencing it. It is however, that journey is the it is the goodness that innocent, the innocent people, good people, loving people, I guess have to come to terms with. And it is that truth that makes me make a choice of love over hatred. And I think perhaps we do not discuss enough of our negative feelings or share them in a safe, in a healthy way, because they're part of us and they are there for a reason. And they're there to protect us, and yet they're also there to lead us to the legacy, I was going to say legacy, but they're also there to lead us to they're there to lead us to the love which has sustained us.
Thank
To
you
the
so
love
much,
which has.
Gail. Thank you so much for sharing your heart, and please take care of yourself. These are difficult times for everyone. Reach out for the supports if you need to. Thank you so much for sharing. If I can hear from maybe Huwaida first and then Ithar. Uzma, can you unmute Huwaida? and
Whether
then
you are unmuted, please speak up.
Yes, Assalamu alaikum. Greetings, everyone. Actually, I don't have more to say after what we heard from everyone here. I think it's well said. I just felt that I need to say something. It's really hurtful. It's really painful. And if I can say to everyone, just let's stay strong. Let's spread love. We're not haters. We are lovers. Our religion is about love, about peace, about compassion, about all the good feelings and caring for each others. Just let's stay strong and don't let this incident to impact or shake our feelings or our values. I know we are in pain, but sometimes pain what make us stronger, and that's what's happening right now. So despite what happened, and even the incident that happened during the call, which was also, I'm still shocked this is happening. But still, please, everyone, just stay strong. Pray for the family, pray for the kid, and let's stay together and love each other. I love you all. That's all I can say in this type of situation. Thank you. Thank you all for having this venue for people to be able to express their feeling. This is, I'm sure everyone will feel better after this. They feel they have a place to go to. Thank you.
Thank you, Huwaida. Thank you so much, Ithar.
My message is just I felt that I need to say something to Omar. I just wanted to tell him that he is actually, it may look that he is at a disadvantage juggling two cultures, like the culture that he has at home and trying to balance it when he goes to school and the community at large. But what I wanted to tell him is exactly what I say to my son, is like, he has a great advantage actually, if you can recognize it, if you can recognize that you have two worlds, that it's just I know it's challenging to figure out the balance, but if you can get the best out of each world, your personality and the contributions that you can make to this country is just priceless. But you just have to find the balance, take your time, and I know that you will find support, whether within your family or all the resources that it can be provided to you. All what you need to do, I think, is just ask if you find that you need some help. Again, I just want to say thank you to the Coalition of Muslim Women for this vigil, and wish that everybody will stay strong, spread the love, and have a good night, and assalamu alaikum, everybody.
Thank you so much, Ithar. And I know people have been listening to each other very patiently. We still have about 150 people present. If the care for you means that you have to leave now, please do not be shy, and make sure you're looking after what you need at this point. I want to share my appreciation for our leaders who have stayed in the room and stayed with the room to listen to when the community talk. Nora May Lindo is here. I see Imam Shafiq Huda is here. I wouldn't be able to take all the names, but all of you, you know who I'm talking about. Thank you so much for staying with the community and providing that space and that ear, especially when we are not able to meet in person, to share what they're going through. and to have that space and that year is just amazing. Thank you so very much for that. I don't see any raised hands now.
There is Nancy Fazia. She wants to speak. Nancy
Okay.
Ford.
Nancy Ford, can you please
And
unmute
we'll
Nancy?
unmute her. Yeah. Nancy, yeah, sure. Go ahead, Nancy.
Thank you. I just wanted to say really briefly, I wasn't intending to speak. And it's been so moving to hear everyone tonight. And I just wanted to ask, and maybe it's very late to be asking this, that perhaps the white people like myself who've joined in can allow more space for voices of the people affected and targeted by racism in our community. I'm first generation Canadian like Omar, but I have not had to experience racism. I've never. And I just wanted to say that really briefly, that I know people were all mourning together, but white people like myself will never know what Muslim people and other people, Black people, Indigenous people, brown people are going through. And it's a different, it's, you know, as much as we mourn, it's a different feeling. And I'd love to, I just want more space given to the voices that belong to people who are targeted. Thank you.
Thank you for your thoughtful message, Nancy. I see Mr. Bardish Shagar here listening to what you have to say. I see MP Raj Saini here listening to what community has to say. Thank you for listening. And again, we're hoping that you will bring these words back to where the decisions are made. Thank you so much. Do we have other hands raised, my team? Is there anybody else in the room, regardless of your background, who would like to share something? This space is open to all.
Hi. Emil Peterson had his hand up.
Go ahead, Emil.
I felt compelled to mention this story, Omar, because of what you said. I just wanted to mention to you that in my life, I have traveled to a Muslim country, Pakistan, where in that country, I met a number of people who, if I had taken a picture of them, they would have been stereotyped and perceived as Talibanis. They were men, they had large beards, they wore turbans. And in their particular case, they all had assault rifles, AK-47 rifles, precisely because their religious community was under threat by the Taliban, who did not appreciate their exercise of Islam, in particular incarnation. So I just wanted to mention that story to you, hoping that maybe you feel that there are people who are capable of seeing past some of these false stereotypes, such as these people who would have been judged on their appearance and it would have not been just. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Emil. Thank you. I also want to recognize MP Tim Lewis listening here. Deputy Chief Shirley Hilton is here. Mark Crowell is here from Waterloo Region Police Services. Mike Maurice, hopeful from Kitchener Center. Green Party is here. Lots of people are here listening to what you have to say, the community, regardless of your background. So please, if there is anything else, if you need the space, if you need to share, we're here. When you're ready to go home, we're ready to go home too. Means virtually. And also, if the care for you means now to say goodbye and leave, please do so as well. Rahaf Al-Nouri.
Hi, everyone.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yes, Rahaf.
Hi, everyone. Salam alaikum. My condolences to all the people who lost, like to the family and to all of us for losing those people, the smiley people. I really, really am very sad about the incident. And that's why I wanted to share something personal here. So I've been Canadian citizen for like maybe 2 to 3 years. And before that, I lived here for 3 years also. And since then, I was always like I'm so proud. Like since I was in the newspaper, when I was at the ceremony, when I did the oath and met all the people and they congratulated me, until I moved to a new work, like a new work environment. It was a diverse work environment, and there a new story started in my life, a new chapter. I was like, every day I was exposed to racism. Some racist people who are trying to bully me, sometimes silently and sometimes in front of others. So I was taking it kind of easy like first, and then I like gradually I started to feel the impact of this on my own family and my own personal life. So I brought it up to the manager and stuff. So I talked it out. But however, the situation have changed, but the issue, the real reasons for the issue, the people there did not change. Yes, they changed their actions because of like the like the bylaw, everything that is in place, the policies that prevent such behaviors at workplace. But I believe that people themselves did not change. So I'm trying and I'm working hardly to change the situation. I don't want to change my situation anymore because I'm comfortable now with what I got with my situation. I'm relieved. I'm not that stressed out like the whole year, but I am always thinking about what could I do for these people, for some of my colleagues who I believe they got the idea about Arab and about Muslim communities. They got bad ideas about them because of some real examples that they have seen and dealt with. So I don't blame them anymore, to be honest. Like yes, I blame them for for stereotyping, for putting me in a category that I don't belong to. But after hearing some stories about, like one of my colleagues is 20 years old, she's just like this man. And this young man who did the incident yesterday on Sunday, when I heard the story, like her picture, her face jumped to my face right away. And I was like, what if they grew up in the same school? Because at that school, they welcomed so many Syrian refugees, and some of them were not, apparently they were not behaving well. So I believe there was some missing points there. And so that's why my white colleagues were exposed to some actually bully from the Syrian refugees. So it all created a complicated situation, which I was impacted with after like 2 to 3 years after. So there is a missing point, and I'm not sure if there is any platform where we can meet together and talk about it more. And how do we like implement some changes? How do we Muslim communities fight back, but in the same place, do our job in correcting a bad image, a possible bad image that might be created in these youth minds? Who know? Maybe they will change some actions. Maybe we can prevent some future possible actions like this. So I would like to, I wanted to share this just to see if there is any, like if there's any resources, if there's any, I know the College of Muslim Women, they do a platform about hatred and hatred incidents. I know that. I've never thought about reporting anything because it's really kind of personal issues. But if there is something like bigger than that, if there is something more general we can participate in, that would be great. And thank you for gathering us here. What I heard today has strengthened me and have given me a push to stand strong. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much, Rahaf. Thank you so much for sharing such a personal story, and also really congratulating you on your courage to stand up for yourself and being able to resolve the issue at your workplace, and for your thoughtfulness that you continue to share for the people. You heard for them, thinking that you can do something about, the hate that they have. So really, really such a thoughtful person that I heard right now. Definitely, we will be in touch. There's a lot of work that is done at CMW in terms of education, and education means not that traditional kind of education, really trying to understand each other better. So definitely we'll be in touch. And if you're the same Rahaf who I'm thinking you have always been part of some of those activities, like a Taste of Ramadan and Tea and Tales with Muslim women. If you're the same Rahaf that I'm thinking.
Yes, I am.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Thank you. It's nice to hear from you. Thank you. Do we have any other hands raised?
Not really. I don't see any. Ikram Al-Momini wants to say something.
Yes, Ikram, go ahead, please.
Thank you. I just would like to second you, Fawzia, thanking Rahaf, and I would like to emphasize also for the reporting system, people can report anonymously. They don't need to disclose any personal information, just we need to know the details of the incidents. Thank you so much.
Any other hands raised?
No.
Any last thoughts from any member of the audience?
Yeah, Fawzia, I want to share something before we leave.
Okay, Helen.
No, I used to live in Iron Needle, Waterloo, where it's walking distance from my home to Sergio McDonald's High School. So my daughter refused to go there because of the name of the school. You know, everybody knows that this Sergio McDonald was one of the creator of residential school for indigenous people, where people experience like torturing and losing a lot of life of children. So when I talked to her, so what the reason, she said, I cannot be in a school where the staff are silent or agree to have a name of Sergio McDonald as a hero of Canada. So I'm looking now for, as a small step, change the name of people. This is the life in Canada. So this is a small action to change the name of people who created this hatred system. So I'm wondering where we are can be safe in a place. So when I talk to her, so you are not covered, your name doesn't like people recognize you as a Muslim. Her answer was, what about if like all of a sudden they found me that I am Muslim? I'm not feeling safe. So where I can be so I had to change her school and to move all the way to Kitchener to like have her like enroll her in of the name of those between brackets, the heroes. So I think we have a long journey. So because of, as I mentioned, this small step has not been taken. I heard a lot of people say, oh, you are not alone, we are hearing, so we need action. So yesterday in my workplace, they asked me, what kind of a change you would like to see as a Muslim to feel more safe? I told her, it's not my business to tell you. As a Muslim, we did not create this Islamic phobia. You create it by using your media, you like stereotyping about Muslim, and you have this reputation about Muslim, and it's your business to make the change. So yeah, so they have to do the decision maker. Is now time. It's very serious. it's like threatening the peace in Canada, if there is a peace anyway.
Thank you, Helen, for all of this deep sharing. You know that there is a petition out, and I think the school board has already announced that they will hold a community consultation on the possible change of the John A. Macdonald School's name. It's happening.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have Laura May Lindo. I saw your hand was raised.
Thank you so much again. I just wanted to very, very quickly, not take up too much time, but just let folks know when the Zoom bombing happened. We did have members of the Waterloo Region Police Services that are on the call, and so they've already been in touch. They did send me a message because I had thrown something in the chat because I wasn't sure who was still with us. But they're working with the Coalition of Muslim Women to try and address it. The reason I'm raising this is because there may be a particular impact on folks that were navigating that. There was a lot of very anti-Black language that was thrown in there, a lot of homophobia. We've already had, we started off with Kate in the room with us. So just putting a little bit of extra love out there for our Muslim colleagues where this all started, our Muslim community members, Black community members that are on this call, queer community members who are on this call. We are all in this together. As difficult as these moments are, part of how the system operates is to try and divide us so that we're fighting against each other. They try and divide us so that, oh, but this is space for this, so we can't talk about that. But we will not be moved. We will not have that happen. And please hold me accountable, hold the police services accountable, hold us all accountable to make sure that we follow through, try as hard as we can to keep people safe. As an elected official, though I was not the one who Zoom bombed you, I am very sorry that this is the experience that we have to now navigate on top of all of that extensive grief. So thank you again to the Coalition of Muslim Women for holding this space for as long as you have. There's still 112 people on this call. So clearly we needed it. And I'm just really proud of knowing that we're part of a community that no matter how difficult it gets, we stand in our space and just hold ourselves, hold each other as best we can, no matter what's happening. So lots of love to all of you.
Thank you. Thank you. When it's so, when the space that you have is so unsafe, you have to hold the ground. So I again want to remind everyone in the room, if part of your care involves leaving now, please do. It's completely fine. It's completely okay. And those who want to stay here are more than welcome to stay.
May I say something?
You can, please.
Yeah, it's Gail. It's Gail. A speaker who spoke about 2 or 3 previous speakers, I think, hit the nail on the head when she said they changed the rules in her workplace, but the people didn't change. And that's where we can never stop helping each other. And we don't know the impact of that we have by keeping that in our hearts. And as you just said, and someone complimented you on it, standing your ground is the, so I guess it's a nonverbal way of demonstrating that love is stronger than hate.
Thank you. We all have to do it, right? Yes. Faduma, I see your hand raised.
So I just wanted to come back and say thank you for holding this space. Muslim Women Coalition, I really appreciate it. Thank you for holding the space for us to talk and discuss and question. And I got passionate earlier. And I'm just going to thank everybody for listening to my passion at that time. And I really appreciate being able to have the safe space to talk and connect and really figure out what we're going to do to move forward together. So I want to really thank you for putting this together and bringing us all together. I really appreciate all the work you do, all the work you guys do in the community. It's invaluable and I really appreciate it. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Faduma. Thank you, Fatma. So, should we call it? Is this time to say goodbye? Is everyone ready?
Thank you again, dear Fawzia, dear Sarah, and all the organizers from Shafiq.
Thank you, Imam Shafiq. Thank you for staying. Thank you for the year. Thank you, everybody. And
May
please
God
take
bless
care
all
of
of you.
yourself. Please use the supports if you need to. Please encourage others to use the support. Hug your loved ones tight. Keep the family and the little kid, 9-year-old boy, Fayaz, in your thoughts and prayers. And take care of yourself and make sure that your voice is strong against hate, all forms of hate, and you use that voice to bring the change.
Thank you, Fauzia. You have a good night.
You too. Have a good night, everyone. Sarah, Mifra, if you can stay until we make sure that everything is safe, recorded. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you, Fauzia. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, Fauzia. Have a good night.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Thank you. Good night.
Good night.
All the best.
Good night to all of you. Thank you.
Okay, bye. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, everyone. Take care of yourself.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, Fauzia. And
Thank you so much.
our prayer with the kids and the family always will be.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Bye.
Thank you and good night.
So precious.
Good night.
Good night.
Vigil.
Huh? Are people here who would like to share something? I see Jill, Melanie.
Just staying to make sure everything ended safely.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you, Jill.
Thank you. Thank you for holding this space and for your calm voice throughout, Fawzia. Thank you.
Now I need help right now.
Yeah. Well, that's what I want to make sure. Yeah. You need to take care of yourselves.
And what would that look like, Fauzia? Is that something where you would like some of us to stay, or do you want to just be
I'm
together?
in conversation with, bringing some grief support for staff. Even Mifra, like Mifra, Sarah, we all just had to start the action right away. We didn't even give time to each other, ourselves. So I'm hoping that we can do that. And then I'm hoping that we can just be quiet for one day. I'm hoping myself that I can just be quiet one day away from people. So I think this is the only way that I can take care of myself right now. So if you have sent me an email or anybody and I don't respond to it, please forgive me.
You should all just set up your email to say that you're taking some time.
Yeah, you're actually right. We should be doing that, right?
just take your time, right? And
There's so
prepare
many
yourself.
emails, so many messages, and yeah.
I was thinking of you guys, Fawzia, Mifra, Sarah. Like it's we're all today was kind of processing all what happened. Like we needed some time to digest, to understand that really happened.
We didn't get that time at all, Wissam. All day. We didn't get that time at all.
I know, like it's I was thinking of you. I was like making prayers and dua for you guys that Allah give you some strength on that. I tried to check in and
Yeah. Thank you, Sarah, Mifra especially. Wow.
Thank you, Fawzia, for your leadership. I don't think we could have stayed so calm and anchored without you, alhamdulillah.
I think
I
there is
was ready to
definitely a
end.
need. There is definitely a need for a community grief session. Like, the vigil became the grief sharing session. Yeah,
I was
sorry,
ready to
Sarah.
end the meeting. I just because it was so slow, I guess because of my Facebook live. The system wasn't responding. I was trying to go up and down and look for the person, and it was thank you
We
for
didn't know
Uzma.
what was happening.
Uzma was on it, and Uzma was the one who took care of that. Thank you, Uzma, so much.
Fawzia and Sarah, you still have 30 people here, and I think that it's time for all of us to sign off and give your group to have some time together. So
Yeah, we just want to make sure that things are saved, the recording is saved, the chat is saved, that kind of stuff. Thank you so much. Have a good night, and please, everybody, take care of yourself.
Yeah, take care of yourself, Fawzia.
Thank you again.
And everyone.
Guys, yeah.
Okay.
See you again soon.
Thank you so much.
Good night.
Yeah.
Bye. Good
Bye.
night.
Oh, good night. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. Oh my God.
I think because it's Maghrib time, some of the people they left.
Yeah.
The computer's open and they're still logged in, and they went
Oh,
to prayer
I
and
see.
back.
I see.
Some
I see. Sarah, I just want to make sure that you're able to save the chat, however you do it.
Yeah, so I'm recording and.
So maybe we should end the meeting.
Yes, I think so. Yeah.
That's the best thing to do.
This is the only way.